Going live. Hello everybody, welcome here. We're up in the loft. I've got Les Cliff with me.
Hi again.
And I'm just waiting for Zoe to set up the chat. And the chat has to be, yeah, there we are, the cupboard monkey.
I am not a cupboard monkey, I am a technical monkey.
She is a cupboard monkey. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to get the chat up, and that'll come up on a screen off camera over to the left. And hopefully then we can read questions and stuff. It's all a bit kind of learning the ropes. It's the first time we've done this from up in the loft in Weir Yard. So you might recognise the railway behind me from videos like that. The lighting looks a bit moody, and that's because with the regular lighting where we're needing to... No, I didn't break it. What happened was the main light is straight above us. We've had to turn that off.
She wanted it to look romantic.
No, because before it made it look like we were being interrogated by the Gestapo or something. It was like real bright in your face. So we still don't actually have the comments yet. Hint, hint.
I am trying.
You're very trying. So in the meantime, I can see we've got 21 of you online, 2 likes. Don't forget to mash that thumbs up, share this video too, and also don't forget as well that you can support the channel if you're so inclined, and it's really very much appreciated, by heading on over to Patreon. And what that actually does is that helps me spend more time up in the loft playing trains. No, it helps me to be able to free up time to be able to make more of the videos that you really like. So it is always very much appreciated. But got Les Cliff with me. You may recognise us from Team Rail Riders here, yes, all the way through to the final. We did talk a bit about that. Have we got? No, we want live chat, not top chat.
Top Cat?
Yeah. Top chat. I don't know why it does that. It's like, do you want us to arbitrarily hide some of the chat so you don't even see what the spammers are doing? Oh yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it? Yeah. So if you look at us like leaning over, and also, God, you need good eyesight.
Yeah, I can't read any of it.
Yeah, I'm struggling. It's an old flat screen monitor. Oh wow! How did you do that?
Right, we have a button here, Control and Plus and Control and Minus. If you hold them, then it increases or decreases the size.
Oh, right.
What witchcraft?
Can it make us look thinner?
No.
Oh, shucks.
Well, we've got... it's going to be tricky for me to actually scan back through the comments. So, if I'm not answering you and you've got a really good question, do repeat it. No, don't just sort of mash that return key. But Alan Reynolds, PVA J Cloth... Whoa, what happened there?
I'm trying to work out how to sort this out for you.
It just went...
Yes, because I'm screwing it.
Talk amongst yourselves.
All of my zip discs.
Don't worry, there's your scroll.
You know, you can't get them anymore.
Jen, there's your scroll. Go for it. I'm sorry to have to shout at her, but sometimes Jenny needs to be told off.
That's not a scroll. Is that my... What I need is a piece of wood, I think.
I might have to alter my sitting position because I'm seizing up.
A piece of wood that's actually, like, usable. Zoe, stop trying to be helpful. Just pass me a book or something.
Wait. A book up here.
Well, anywho... Oh, actually...
Aren't we so technical? That's all you need.
The scroll wheel... Right, okay. Did you put my... No, you didn't. But never mind. Right, okay, so... Are you look at that in the end. God, Mickey Mouse Productions present.
We're not Mickey Mouse, we're not even Betty Boo.
Anywho, right. Let's have a look and see if the scroll wheel works. Let's scroll back to the top. Good God, God, you're busy bunch of people. Linnet 12DD, good evening to you.
Good
Growler
evening,
Blackwood,
yeah.
Engage Layout, good evening. Leslie Gilpin, good evening to you. Richie War Department, 1915, evening to you.
Your coffee anyway?
I'm good, thank you.
Just an ordinary coffee.
You don't want it to go Irish?
No, I've got to drive, remember.
Do you want to drink, Jen?
No, I've still got my Irish coffee in the merchandise mug, so just thought I'd... Merchandise is available. But what we're going to talk about, and all this furore of getting set up, I haven't actually thought about what we're going to talk about. But look, it's... What?
Where you get your ideas from.
Oh, apparently, where we get our ideas from is the title. I didn't type. If you're looking at going, there's a title. Why don't you just work to the title? I didn't type it in, so I don't actually. Nobody told me what it is. But do you want to swap seats?
I might just.
Yeah, okay.
No, I won't swap seats. I'll sit on the floor because it's not particularly comfortable. And if I get down, am I still?
You're still in shot.
That's all right. Then that's better.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, are you sure?
I'm fine. Yes. Yeah.
We got we'll get the cupboard monkey to bring a cushion or something.
I'm not proposing to you.
Oh, Les, you
That's why we've got the lights down.
Yes. Oh, Les, you romantic. I can turn off like. Oh no. Right. Evening to you, J. Paul Anderson, Derek Grant. I think that's my computer. No, it's. The trouble is, we've got a mouse and it's sat on top of a Gauge Master controller and it doesn't work. So I'm just trying to use the scroll wheel. Hello, Jenny and the gang, Digger Evans. Let's have a look. I see. The Don Juan, King Fox Junction. Hi, people of the modelling world. Evening, Les and Jenny. I'm just going to scan through the comments because there's probably hundreds by now. Cottersmore, hi to you. Did you manage to get OBS working then? No. Well, kind of yes and no. We've decided to try, and because we're using the iPhone to do this, we thought we'll experiment with doing it from the loft. I can see next week being back downstairs in the office, and we'll try and get OBS working because it's so much easier than doing this. But, and I don't know, is it me or is it really warm up here all of a sudden?
I think it's the whiskey.
The whiskey.
I'm alright at the moment.
Our coffee went a bit Irish. Ah, diddly-dee, fiddly-dee, fiddly-dee.
Start doing river dance. We'll be alright.
Yeah. Let's go watch a film. But yeah, Tony Britton, are we all sitting comfortably now?
Yes, I'm comfy now, yes.
Yeah, Digger Evans, get him a cushion. Mark Wilson, evening, my ducks. Oh, Stephen follows. Hi guys, how's the finger holding out, Les?
It's alright. I won't be doing that again in a hurry. So, yes.
It's the kind of mistake you only do once.
35 years to do it though. I mean, I've been very careful of
what did you actually do?
A Morso machine is like two big V blades that come down, and there's a gap where the moulding comes along and it's held up against a fence. And you have these little rebate supports that wind up and down that support the edge of the moulding, because if you just chop straight down it would break all the time. But there's a lot of very deep rebated mouldings nowadays, and the rebate supports don't always wind up high enough. So you have two choices. You can either cut the moulding upside down if it'll allow you to, if it's a flat surface on the top surface. This wasn't, unfortunately. Or you have to pack it up. So I was packing it up with another piece of scrap moulding, and because as you've got your fingers so close to the edge of the Morso blade, and this pinky in the middle here, this little piggy, just caught it too much and my finger went up. And as I pulled my finger away, it ripped off the nail bed. 5 hours near enough in the A&E department. Thank you, Mrs. Cupboard Monkey.
But was most... and she claims not to be a cupboard monkey, but we beg to differ.
So it's not as bad now. It's all dried and cleaned up, and I think I'm lucky.
So the nail actually completely come off?
There's literally a V cut, and a V piece of the nail has all been pulled away.
I bet that hurts.
It does, and it throbs every so often. I'm just taking some paracetamol every occasion because it starts to throb after a while.
See, I'd have trouble driving with that finger out of action because that's how I signal to other trucks. Right, easy now, family show. But inspiration. So, just having a look. Was that Lee Phillipson? Whilst down there, get him to tidy your wiring. Is your wiring tidy?
I haven't got any wiring at the moment.
He doesn't do wiring as a rule. It's just kind of, well, there's 2 wires to the track. It'll work. But as you know,
the track.
Yeah. But no, inspiration. Let's talk a little bit about inspiration. Where do you generally find your inspiration for building a model railway?
Well, when I started Notlobia, I didn't have any inspiration as such. All I had was memories of what I had as a child. So I just started to build a layout without any track plans or anything. And I suppose sometimes you draw inspiration from the knowledge that you've got up here. But gradually as you get working and you're out and about and you're looking at things in everyday life, you know, those start to have an impact on you, or you've got memories from places that you've been, and you start to build up a jigsaw of things that you would like to probably incorporate. So there's lots of things that I remembered from my childhood of the train set that I used to have and the trains I had. So I always wanted to get those trains again, you know, the classics like the Mallard and the Flying Scotsman and everything. But the actual creation of Notlobia, it was a bit like automatic writing. That's the way I've always described it. I started off with the boards that were down there, which were just trestles and all sorts, and started to make a layout. And then I just kept thinking, right, if I do this, if I add that, if I add that. But my mind is it's weird, it goes off in different tangents. And sometimes I get halfway through deciding on one thing and I think, but if I do that, and I go off in another direction, that can be good, but it can also be quite detrimental because you never finish off quite
so
what
it's almost like you get distracted by wanting to do too
your creativity
much at once.
can be a bad thing. Whereas if you've got a plan that you're working to, which I will probably do more in the newer layout, then it controls, you know, your imagination and what you want to do. Plus I always started by building a world and sticking the railway in afterwards, which is the wrong way round in some respects. So, you know, I've got to learn that I need to do the fundamentals first.
Because that's what we talked about, was that for your new layout we're going to try and do it properly. And
well, you're going to do it properly for me. You're going to do the one.
But it's one of the things that I kind of guess that as a take home from GMRC, one of the things that I'm guessing that you've taken away from it is that, you know, the fundamentals of getting the track right, the electrics to make it all trouble free, and then building the scenery afterwards. Because obviously that's how we had to build it. You know, your track went in first. Has that been quite an eye-opener?
It has, definitely. I mean, I've collected all kinds of gizmos like the capacitors and things for the points and point motors. Never got around to fixing them in. You know, I'd got the track and I got the point, but I haven't even made the holes underneath the board for the point. So everything was kind of back to front. And
it is one of the things that I suppose it's very easy when you first start out to get kind of, I want to build the fun stuff, and you neglect the kind of the foundations of it all. And I think we've all been there. I know that my first model railway, which is the one which I did a video of, the lost Jenny Kirk layout, the one with no name, and I fell into all the same pitfalls because I really wanted to get on with doing scenic-y stuff. But, you know, in some respects it's like you have to kind of be a little bit restrained because you know, you need to plan things out. But in terms of takeaway from GMRC, I guess that I took away that, you know, confidence is probably the most important thing.
Well, that is, if you've got the confidence to do something, then you'll have a go at it, because you know that if something goes wrong, you've still got that confidence to put it right or to work round it and try something else. Not having the confidence can be, you know, the buffer stop that you come up against that stops you developing. Because modelling is it's trial and error. You know?
And what I've been telling people is actually, what you've got to say to yourself is that, you know, you can't really cock it up. You can't make a complete hash of it, especially when it comes to doing the scenery. And the confidence is about effectively telling yourself it doesn't matter how it looks, what happens, you can fix it. You know, it's open to a lot of experimentation.
Scenery is very organic, and you can do all manner of things. It doesn't have to be sort of cut and thrust straight, you know, so rigid and technical, which the track work to some extent does. But scenery, you can work over it. It's a bit like an oil painting. You know, you can make a mistake, you can wipe it out, or you can go over the top of it. And that's what creating a landscape. It's building a painting in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of your other comments. Aaron Bischoff, hello from Australia. Hi to you. Got a lot of people watching from Australia. It's really good to see you.
Hi, David, Tom, if you're out there in Tasmania.
You don't have to shout. But Mark Croucher, on a freelance layout, it's all about the nostalgia for me. Layout based on my childhood world of the 1960s. Yes, and I guess that for me, I always draw on real world places that I've seen that look interesting in some way. There'll be some kind of aspect of something I've seen, and I thought I want to incorporate that into
Well,
my
all,
model.
all of my railway is based sort of from the 1950s, 56 when I was born, right through to the sort of the late 1980s. So the places as well have all got significant meanings to me. I mean, Notlob is basically Bolton as a backwards
Just
name.
gonna grab the tissues. You keep
Okay.
talking, don't mind me.
And then on the next layout, I shall be having a station called Winscott Dale. Now that's an anagram of a place I was born in Derbyshire. See if you can guess what it is. I'll tell you later on if you can't.
Oh, I
So-
think I know. Am I allowed to say?
No, give them a chance. Have a
give
have a
them
go.
chat.
Give them.
chat. Because I think you've actually told
I have
me,
told
so
people
it might be
now,
a little
but,
bit mean. Of me.
a
I'll
lot
probably still get it wrong, you know.
So yeah, things from growing up have always played a part in the railway. Things that I like I love the narrow gauge, the Festiniog and the Tallaghflin Railway. My cousins, before they went to Australia, the last time we were together, we had a ride. My uncle took us on the Tallaghflin and the Festiniog. And for that particular Christmas, just before they went, he bought me a transformer, I can't remember what make it was, a couple of trains, track and everything to get me started. It was a very expensive present in those days, and my mum and grandmama said, that's too much. He said, well, I won't see Les for many years, so this is a lot of Christmas presents all rolled into one. So that's what moved me from the Lone Star push along trains
Oh, God, I
into
remember
the
those.
Triangle Hornby sort of start
Yeah.
and everything. And we love the narrow gauge railway. So again, I've got the 009, or I did have, as a mountain railway on the layout. So that's something from my past. And mountains, well, I love Scotland, I love Sweden. Well, not Sweden, I've not been to Sweden, but Switzerland,
Yes.
Luxembourg. So holiday images, you think of things, and you know the landscape and everything else helps to create the world.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, the Festiniog Railway was always quite an inspiration to me. I never built in 009, but certainly if I was going to, the Great Little Railways of Wales would be a big inspiration. But I mean, the railway that's in here, Weir Yard, that comes from when I lived in Durham. The second time I lived in Durham, because I was there for university and I came back and worked there for 2.5 years. I actually worked in Newcastle. So the train ride from Durham to Newcastle every day commuting always went past Tyne Yard. And there's a lot of aspects of what I saw in Tyne Yard that have been incorporated into this layout. But conversely, you know, Bolton Trinity Street Station was always a marvel to me, going right back. You know, I remember it in its old form, hence that's what my shed layout was. But Trafford Park too, I've worked into Trafford Park a lot. And the industrial railway there has always greatly inspired me. And that's pretty much in a nutshell. Every model railway I've ever built encompasses those things. And I guess you see a real place and you start to, in your mind,
Think how can you adapt it and model it into miniature? Yeah.
Definitely. Let's have a look. This is quite an old computer that's on the wall, so we're going to have to chug our way through. Let's try and see. Yeah, Fat Wallet Boy too. Yeah, the first wave of comments are all the hellos. They are, but it's always good to hear from everybody. Good to see everybody.
Hello to
tuning
everybody
in.
that we missed.
We've got 100 people watching now, so it's really good to have you all along. Cottesmore, I didn't get a cup. I hope the Cupboard Monkey is serving you as well as she did me. Yeah, she brought pizzas and stuff. Well, there's I keep looking over there as if I'm talking to the cat, but of course the camera isn't where the questions are. It's there. But no, the Cupboard Monkey is currently making a lasagna, and lasagna is my favourite food. I'm kind of a Garfield. Do you like lasagna?
I do, yes.
I didn't bother to ask before we started cooking it, I'll be honest with you. So
Well,
yeah.
I had some tea before I came.
Yeah,
so
Cottesmore, yeah, thanks for the offer. If you get stuck on OBS, drop me an email. Will do. I think Zoe knows the theory. It's just at the moment, what we're trying to do is, we're always a long-term aim to get up here and do the live streams from the loft from Weir Yard. So this is kind of small steps towards that. What we actually need is to upgrade the computer. It's this
or the Cupboard
computer.
Monkey.
Well, this computer's over 15 years old, and that is ancient in computing terms. It just about hangs on.
I'm still on Windows 3.1.
Are you? No, you're not. You've got a phone. You haven't got a computer.
No, I haven't.
You've got a piece of string and 2 polystyrene cups. Let's have a see. Growler Blackwood, engage there. Hope no one falls through the loft hatch. You guys are obsessed with my loft hatch. Yeah, anybody would think that you're waiting for the day somebody falls through, but no, it's all quite safe.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's have a look. James Pets, goodness me, attic-based live stream. Yes, very much so. This has always been the long-term aim. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Hello to you. Good to have you aboard. Oh, New Mills Model Railway. I trapped my finger in a DMU door once on a heritage railway when I was a kid. Nail came clean off.
Oh, yes.
I can imagine. It doesn't take much, strange enough, to damage your nails.
No, and there's so many nerve endings.
Oh God, they hurt. Well, that's why the nails are there, to protect all that. Let's have a look. Gordon Adam, hi. Are you receiving over and out? Yes, we are.
Yes,
Thank you
over
very
and out.
We
Yeah.
might be a little bit behind on the comments. Fat Wallet Boy 2, where's 2019 gone to? Just realised we're now into November and it's Wally soon. I know what you mean. It just doesn't it? I mean, do you find that as
you get older,
that
time just flies by,
And when you're a kid, it's like the summer holidays go on forever. But not when you're our age.
No, they've gone. Blink of an eye.
Yeah. Ham Shackleton, interesting. Plans make the idea too rigid. Yeah, I think being flexible is a good tip.
It's good to have a plan, whether it's laid out in paper and cut out and laid on your board, or whether it's just a very quick, rough idea. I don't use track plans as such.
Yeah,
for not
neither do
low,
I.
it was all freescaping, as it were. But I have got Pico's track plan books and a couple of others now for some of the other layouts that I'm thinking I might have to work to, because my space is going to be more restricted than it was before.
Well, see, I think you can take aspects of track plans.
Yeah.
I mean, I never work to a track plan. In fact, I don't have a track plan. I mean, physically there is track laid out, and somebody who knew what they were doing could draw a track plan. But I don't have a track plan. I never did have one to work to. It's just not the way I work, and I think that when you're building a model railway, it's always good to be very flexible, because sometimes as you build it, ideas change, and then sometimes things don't fit the way you envisaged in your head. But then at other times you look at something and think, actually that would have worked really well if I put a siding there, or moved the track, or added something extra in. So it's always good to be a little bit flexible. Somerset Trucking and Transport. Hi Jenny and Les. I hope you're good. Good to see you.
Not so
bad. Let's have a look. For some reason, that Irish coffee was a bit too Irish for me, I think. Mark Croucher on a freelance layout. It's all. We already read that one out. I think we're getting close to where we were before. Mark Wilson. My inspirations come from spotting in the late 70s, early 80s. Evening visits on the platforms at Nuneaton and Leicester. On rainy days, watching dirty blue diesels on newspapers and parcel services. Yeah, I must admit, when I was a kid, the railways did seem a lot more interesting. So look, Fat Wallet Boy 2. One key part of planning is to where to lay points so that point motors don't fail with any cross bracing underneath. I hear you there, and you'll still find on a big layout there's always one that ends up in an awkward place. But I think if you go back and have a look at some of my Friday update videos, you can use surface mounting ones. Pico do PL12 surface mounting plates, and then use things like I use the Southern Railway concrete prefab plate layers huts to disguise those point motors. So there are ways and means. Leslie Gilpin. I did a plan, built the boards and drew a plan on them. Told it would look totally wrong compared to existing layout, so ripped up plan and we'll see what evolves. Yeah, I think that actually just letting the plan, having a rough idea, and I think that's why they didn't like us on GMRC in the final, because they kept saying, we need to see a plan, we need to see this meticulous plan, and we kept saying to them, we're not building this thing from blueprints, we have kind of a concept, and we build to this concept. And that didn't necessarily resonate with what they wanted for the final. But it's just how, you and I think we get on very well.
We do indeed. We do.
Because we think a lot in the same way in terms of, our
ideas
approach
off
to
each other.
And, I think our approach to modelling is very similar in terms of, I know when I was watching you do a lot of the scenic stuff, it was kind of good to see somebody else
doing the same,
doing the similar. You're a lot better at it than me.
I wouldn't say.
But, well, no, I think you're the master, and
No.
There's a master and an apprentice. Light balances the dark. They're master and an apprentice.
Oh, dear, dear.
Yes. Strike me down and I grow ever stronger.
I'm leaving now.
Did you shout down there, Cupboard Monkey?
I said you are not Emperor Palpatine.
Who's Queen? Queen of the Rail Riders. Right. Dungeonwood Model Railway, evening to you. Great to see some loft action. Ooh, matron. Let's have a look. Linnet 12DD, Red Dwarf. To be honest, I'm a walking cliche for catchphrases. Blackadder, Red Dwarf, Only Fools and Horses, stuff like that. I just trot it all out. Oh, hi. Angus's Trains is in. Good to see you along. Always great to see the regulars in. We've got Berry 120. I prefer just laying some track, leaving it there and playing around with it over a long time period, brackets months, until I'm happy with it, both in terms of layout and running quality. And that's an interesting point, actually. One of the things that I did, especially when I was building Trinity Road out in the shed, because space was such a premium, what I found myself doing was I had a pile of points and stuff, and I was working out how to make the junctions and see if they could fit within the space. Grove Street Yard as well, I did that as well. I just played about within the space and just made sure that locomotives that I wanted to use and the rolling stock that I wanted to use would fit within the head shunts and the run round loops.
When I was doing Notlobia and planning the sort of the station and the goods sheds there, I was making sure that not only did the track look reasonable and the trains would work into it, although I never got around to doing all the shunting, I was also thinking, well, if I'm having a goods shed there, how's the lorry going to get there? So making sure that the buildings that went had access to the road vehicles that would normally need to go there, rather than just plonking something on a layout because it's a goods shed and then thinking, well, that's a stupid place to put it, really, because nobody's going to be able to offload the goods onto anything, or how are the vehicles going to get into the station yard if there's no sort of crossing or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, my very first layout, I built a factory unit, and the road access, I worked out it was theoretically impossible even for a car to gain access to it, let alone the lorries, which I had in model form. But Ben Davis, hi Jennifer, thanks for the live stream. You're more than welcome. Well, thank you for joining us. It's always great to have you all and have your company. And I always feel really humbled that you all choose your Monday evening to join me and my guest tonight. It's Les Cliff. You remember, of course.
I am as tall as Jenny. I'm just on the floor.
Yeah, I did get him. I got him a seat. Not the most comfortable of seats, a Crockett. I put it there because actually eventually.
I might lean on that as well.
Okay, yeah.
I'm older than you. I'm 64.
Yeah, you actually have weathered very well.
It's the weathering powder that I use. It's very good.
No, but you see, I wouldn't have said you were more than maybe 50. If that, late 40s, early 50s. You actually look.
I'm warming to you even more.
But no, you look a lot younger than you are. I have to say,
well,
you have weathered well.
Thank you very much. I think this is also one of the issues I've had at work with the framing business, because people think I can go on and on and on forever. And when I've told people how old I am, they've all been shocked. They've all said, you're not.
Yeah.
I am.
You're like, you haven't even got the white Captain Bird. Well, so there's still a lot.
It's going grey. It's going highlights.
No, but there's still a lot of colour in there. Yes. The same with the hair on your head.
I'm not using Grecian 2000.
But let's have a look. Right, Blind Paul. I have used track plans for ideas, but lay track freehand. Yeah, I think that's the only way to do. You've got to be flexible, and as a take home from GMRC. Number one for me was confidence, but number two was flexibility. Yeah. You've got to kind of roll with the punches and, be prepared to change things on the fly as and when. Don't stick rigidly to a plan if you don't have to. Oh, can you hear the rain? Yeah. That's one of the things you get up here, is you get the sound of the rain on the
One of the things you also have to try and think when you're building a model railway is, initially a model railway is just two-dimensional. It's track on a board, but you've got to think three-dimensional, because you've got to figure out, right, if I want track to go over this track or under that, you know, you've got to figure out your different levels and where buildings might go, and raised townscapes or rivers and canals and things like that.
Are you all right?
Whoops.
It's all right. We'll sort that out in a moment. The cupboard monkey bringeth lasagna.
Oh,
It's very, very hot.
That's
very,
okay.
very hot.
There we
Oh.
are. We'll need a.
Bring another spoon.
There's a spoon on
Oh,
its way up
I'm
to.
going to sit on here.
Okay. Well, you grab the one with the spoon.
This,
Beetleback Vanguard. Isn't
yes, KDM 850. That was the Vanguard that I remember from a child. It had a bench seat in the front, and my granddad, in the days when you could do anything in a car, he'd sit you on his knee.
He'd
and
let you drive it.
He'd literally let you drive the car down the road. You know, this was even before speed limits came into force.
Really? No, I thought there was always a speed limit.
I don't know, maybe there was, but I didn't remember them. But I remember sitting in between my granddad's knees and driving the car. Obviously he was still in control over it, and I forget now, but the little indicators that came out the side,
Oh,
like ears,
they're like
Thank you very
flicked
much.
up on electromagnets.
So I've always remembered that car, and that number plate has always stuck in my mind. Probably as well because my dad gave me such a good hiding one day.
Oh yeah, I
He was
remember this.
parked on the drive, and we were going out for a picnic somewhere. I went and got in the car, waiting for everybody, and I took the handbrake off. And all of a sudden the car started to go backwards, and I'd be about 7.
So you never thought to put it back on?
Panic. So the car started to go down the drive. My dad saw it go past the kitchen window, came out the kitchen, legged it down the drive, opened the door, got in, slammed the handbrake on, and gave me such a wallop.
That's the other thing that the past gave us, is like your parents weren't afraid to give you a damn
No,
good
and
thrashing.
I deserved it, you know, because the drive suddenly would have gone steeper where it went onto the road, and
And it had
the
picked
traffic.
up some serious speed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually quite dangerous.
Oh, thank you very much, Cupboard Monkey. Cupboard Cook.
But I love lasagna. I shall put that there. It's my model railway. I'll put whatever I like on it. Let's have a look at some more of the comments. Oh, that's an interesting one. Ben Davis, who would you pick to win the Great Model Railway Challenge? Out of everybody, you've watched every episode now, I take
Yeah.
it. So you've seen all the ones in the heats that we never got to actually see in the flesh.
I think so.
So I suppose, I'm going to take it from that. If there was one layout that was like a winning layout from everything, what would it be in your mind?
Crikey, because they all had so many different aspects. Without being overcritical, and no sour grapes at all, the only thing I found that with some of the layouts, they were very, very cardboardy and flat in terms of texture. Ours had kind of more realism in the landscape than the architectural one, but that's not taking away. They were brilliant pieces of work.
Yeah. There was a lot where they reminded me a bit of like an architect's model. Very, very good model work, but almost too clean and clinical.
Yeah.
But I think the standout layouts for me, the ones that stick in my mind, and this is interesting actually from Series 1. If you ask people to name layouts that they remember from Series 1, the Blackadder Goes Forth one comes up time and time again, along with the one that actually won it, the City of Tears or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And for me in this series, the standout ones, the Jurassic Park layout.
Yes, that was
I
good.
thought that was great.
Yeah, the rivet counting one. Yeah.
Yeah, who's counting rivets? I thought that was a great layout. I have to say that their heat layout, it was a good layout, but it was very conventional in my opinion, and it was kind of there wasn't like a killer piece for it. There was nothing that reached out and grabbed you and went, hey, take notice. It was a good layout, but their Jurassic Park layout for me was very much their standout layout.
I must admit as well, I did like the railway, the train set people, what they did.
Oh yes, from Heat 1. Yeah. And I thought actually that they deserved more credit than they got. I thought that was a really good effort coming from people who weren't railway modelers, and that for me was the standout thing. I also like Bucolic Britain with the crochet trees. I like the fact that they weren't afraid
Yeah.
to embrace new and different ideas. So yeah, if I pick 3 layouts, the train set, Bucolic Britain, and Jurassic Park, those 3 for me really stood out. What about for you?
I did like the Harry Potter one.
Oh no, I don't like Harry Potter.
I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. I've only seen the odd film, but I appreciated the animations that they did on that. I like the War of the Worlds one as well. You know, I'm not going to say that we shouldn't be in there just because we made it.
I discounted ours from that. I thought it was poor form to pick my own.
But
this is nice.
It is, yes.
But home cooked lasagna. I'm like Garfield. I could eat lasagna all day. If I was marooned on a desert island and say if there was one food you could take with you, it'd be like a lifetime supply.
I'm going to have to walk 3 miles to work tomorrow. Well, I can't go swimming with this finger.
Well, you've got the physique of a racing snake. You know, come on, you need to put a few pounds on. That was good.
But there were a lot of good layouts there. You know, it's I wouldn't want to be the judge really that had to separate.
I mean, I'd say there was no bad layouts. There was no layout where you looked at it and thought you missed the point. I think everybody produced a very good, very credible layout. And it was actually from a technical point of view, I thought Team Grantham with their I know at the time it drew mixed criticism, their Knights of the Round Table one, but I liked the way that they weren't afraid to go very unconventional, and the layout that they built for the final. I'd love to see that. I believe that they've actually they are finishing it properly. Is it, you know, if they had loads and loads of time, they're doing it properly with all the scenery. And that is a layout that I really would like to see. I think that technically that was a very, very impressive layout.
How did they do it so it looked like the train jumped? I know there was 2 trains, but how did they?
I never actually saw that at the filming. I think it was done. It was timed perfectly, and there may have been a mirror. I'm not sure. I know it was timed perfectly. I mean, it was. Technically, I think that was probably the most impressive layout of the entire series.
Well, the lad on there, or the young man who built the telescope and the carousel.
I suppose they're all a young lad to
well,
you now that you've admitted how old you are.
He was brilliant. He really was.
Yeah, there was. As a team, they were very much up there as candidates to win it. I think with their finals layout, they were a bit over-ambitious given the timescale that we had. And that was really, I guess, their detraction, was that they kind of took on too much. They pulled it off in the semi-final, but it kind of came back to haunt them in the final because it was just too ambitious for the time. That was good.
What's the next? Any more questions?
Let's have a look.
Give us your best.
Palpatine DeWitt.
I don't know what that is.
So this Death Star is now fully operational. Drup68, love the witchy voice.
Oh, I'm coming to get you.
Let's have a look. Common Road Junction, 2 Ronnies. That's good night for me.
That is good night from me.
Yeah, I remember watching that as a small child. My
yes.
parents used to love watching that. It's done that jump thing that it annoyingly does.
4 candles.
Yeah, handles for forks. I'm just having a look. Let's have a look. Oh, it's jumped. I've lost my place in the caption. We've been stuffing our faces, basically, and not reading the... Oh, Brockwell Lane says, get the trains running. Now, I suspect that it will kind of drown the sound a little bit, so...
You might need to move your pizza, your lasagna.
I'll just move it over a little bit.
747 through Weir Junction will
Let's have a look.
have a nasty accident. This is very nice, Zoe.
See what else we've got. 2092. Loco.
Is that going to pick it up on the cameras or?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I'm mindful that people will need to tell me if the noise is getting too great. And let's have a look. What else have we got? There we are. Loco 4408. Oops. Oh, no, wrong way.
Going backwards in time.
So do let me know if that is too much noise, but there we have. Oh, I've twiddled my knob. I don't know whether that's now too noisy, because and there's quite a lot of rolling stock trundling around. So I need to scroll to the bottom of the comments now.
Can they actually see anything though, Jen?
I'm just looking. Yeah, you can just see it going past on the camera. There's things going on. According to Game Hammer Classic Gaming, the trains don't sound too bad, but don't run too many. The voices are clear enough. Excellent. Andy 1962, open the loft hatch, Hal. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. Made a trammel bar to get the curves right. Yeah, that witch voice is going to give me nightmares. Flying Scott says, the higher speed train creates a little noise, but the voices are clear enough. What does the control system use? Greetings from Sweden. That's LGR FBS. It's a Gauge Master Prodigy Express 2 is what we're using down there. So I'm just going to have those 3 trains running. Although saying that, I'm guessing actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the noisiest one.
That one.
Yeah. So we've now got 2 trains running, and I can actually see on the camera screen that you'll be able to see trains running around a little bit.
And if I get out of the way with my pizza, with my lasagna.
Yeah, I tell you, you're really hot. I'm really warm at the moment. So I'm just going to see, can we... I've got a spare plug socket somewhere. I don't know what that's plugged to, but I'm going to unplug it. And I'm going to... Talk amongst yourselves. Just, oh, that is very pleasant. Can you feel the draft around your feet?
Yes, around the nether region.
Is that good? Right.
Yes.
That we're not getting. You're not getting the fan noise coming through as well. We just started off the fan as well, just to keep cool, because it is getting quite warm here. Make one go choo choo. I can't do that because none of the ones that are running are sound fitted. But oh, lasagna is great.
I'd eat more, but I had a meal before I came out. And I am stuffed. So it's no offence, Zoe.
What did you have before you came out?
I had sausage, egg and chips.
Oh, decadent. But yeah, you know I always feed you.
I don't like to be presumptuous.
Turn up and have your belly rumbling all the way through. Well, let's see what we got.
Pictures up, I see.
Yeah.
You still got
I'm just looking on the screen. No, you can't see any on the live stream, but it's like the ones with the little clips you gave me. I put them on the ceiling. I quite like them.
Yeah.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all 6.
Getting like an art gallery.
Yeah, they're really great pictures, and that's it. I'd just like to point out, Les runs a shop called Frame Around. Have you got a website?
I have. It's going to be altered at the moment, but it will be, I think, framearound.co.uk. There used to be one, but we've changed provider, and my son-in-law to be and his dad are sorting out a new website for us. So, obviously, going to try and sell off a lot of my.
So you've got a sale on at the moment?
Yes, it's called my DFS sale.
Your DFS sale?
Yeah, and well, you know how DFS have always got the sale going on any time of the year.
Did they go bust? Is DFS still on the go? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, but
it's like the sign of a recession. The
Yeah.
DFS sale actually did come to an end.
Yeah. Oh well, mine is a sort of there's a rather rude word in there. If you substitute the F for something else, it doesn't stop. It's going to go on for the rest of next year because I've got 70 or 80,000 pounds worth of pictures and stock and framing, and obviously if I'm closing down I need to try and liquidate some of that Not because I'm going bust like Mother Care or anything like that. It's just
Well, you're coming up to retiring.
I'm
I mean,
retiring.
that's the thing you got to remember is Les doesn't look old enough, but he's quite old.
I'm quite old and decrepit again. Things
But,
are going south and not working and
we could-
breaking.
But his shop is in Bolton, so if you're passing through Bolton, it's got a lot of pictures.
Or
like
go on to
railway
my
pictures.
Frame Around Facebook page as well, because
Mm.
I'm always putting stuff on there.
But also as well, I mean, if they come in and mention the Jenny Monday Club, say, password is the Jenny Monday Club.
Yes, definitely.
They can have an extra 1p discount.
No, I am open, literally I'm open to offers on a lot of the stuff.
Mm.
I know what it's cost me to make them and everything.
Yeah.
I've never been greedy, but I only make quality stuff, so
He does, yeah. It's the good stuff.
yeah.
Really is
piece
good
of
stuff.
furniture that will last, you know, quality picture. It's not your
Yeah.
your MFI or your IKEA kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with those, but
It's a different market. This
Different
is
market.
stuff that lasts. This is the kind of stuff that, you know, becomes an heirloom that you can pass down the family because it will still be a usable
well,
piece.
I've
It won't
framed
fall-
on 2 occasions for royalty.
Which royalty in particular?
Both the Duchess of Cambridge and the Duke of York, and
Excellent.
3 actually for Princess Anne.
Excellent. So, if you go to Bolton, go to the Frame Around shop on, is it Bank Street?
Bank Street, yes.
On Bank Street.
Next to Preston's, the diamond people that had been there for 145 years
But
or,
now aren't.
and now aren't. And
But if you say that you're a fan of the Jenny Monday Club, then Les will go, well done.
yes.
Buy some stuff. But yeah, I'm sure that he'll look at you with a much more favourable eye when you try and nab yourself
Well,
a good
I've
bargain.
been doing framing for 35 years. I
Mm.
started with Do It All, W.H. Smith Do It All. I'd been a van driver, a white van driver, an aggressive van driver, like most van drivers who are on sort of multiple drops tend to become because of the urgency of getting around. But I'd stuck at that for a couple of years and then decided I'd had enough of it, it wasn't for me, and the company I was working for weren't particularly nice, so I basically gave them a piece of my mind and left.
Your job, this is where you can stick it. Yes. And if you don't like it, you can swivel on this raised middle digit until you squeal like pigs on a honeymoon.
So I went to the job centre. Well, my wife sort of frog marched me to the job centre because she was sick and tired of me sort of moping around and feeling sorry for myself. And there was this job for W.H. Smith Do It All as a picture framer. I'd not got any experience as a picture framer then, and to be honest, it didn't appeal to me first of all. It was still there, I think, the following week when I went again, so I applied for it, got accepted at W.H. Smith Do It All in Bury, and literally went on a course to Dudley and to Rockford, to Magnolia Mouldings, learnt about the machinery, learnt how moulding was made, started to learn some of the skills that were needed in it. And again, a bit like model railways, the light went on in my head. I thought, I like this. I think I can do this for a living. And so I ended up as a manager of the picture framing department in Bury, and then I became a skills instructor for W.H. Smith. The problem was though that W.H. Smith were expanding at that time quite rapidly, and the director that had set up the picture framing business in the Do It All left, and I believe he set up the Fast Frame franchise, which he then sold on later on. But because picture framing doesn't generate the same kind of turnover that a W.H. Smith or a B&Q department wanted, we couldn't generate £10,000 a week from framing. You know, a bathroom suite or a garden centre section can easily do that with one member of staff, but picture framing, it's hands-on making something for somebody. So it took 2 of us, and I think our best sort of weeks were around about £1,200 to £1,500 turnover. But the Do It All staff decided no, they were going to knock it on the head, and I had the opportunity to buy the equipment and move out and set up on my own. So that's how I came to start my business in a quick save store, because at that time,
Quick save.
in Farnworth, yeah, I started off there.
So you actually, so you did the picture framing, but then you went to presumably not framing pictures in quick save.
No, I when I left Do It All, there was a code of ethics that you do not set up another business that could clash with whatever that shop was doing.
Right.
And because my colleague was still staying on at Bury for a while, I couldn't set up within so many miles. At that time, there were not any shops that I could afford. Shops were very expensive, but the only concession places were Tesco and Quick Save. And QuickSave was the obvious choice for me in terms of location and the price to rent a unit in there. So I started off as a picture framer in QuickSave. The management there said, oh, you won't last more than 6 months. Well, 35 years later, where's QuickSave?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
outlasted you had the last laugh. Oh.
So that's how my career started. And then I was in QuickSave for 14 years. Well, no, sorry, I was in QuickSave for 7 years, moved out to a shop in Farnworth and was there in Farnworth for another 7 years. And then the opportunity to buy Picturesque, as the gallery was then known in Bolton, came along. And I bought them out in 2000. And then in 2007 I bought the whole building. And then lo and behold, we're going to get another recession. But
Yeah,
I've
well,
survived
that's
three.
likely.
Yeah.
Right. Angus has asked for an A4, so
Angus
you
has
keep talking to the camera.
Right.
Let's
Hello, camera. Shall I move this out the way so that you've got more track
no,
space?
no, it's not going on those tracks.
All right. Okay.
So,
How many A4s have you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
I've got 6 A4s, so my chair's ended up further back. Right, I can't run it on the innermost track, so this is the one, you may have seen my review of this with the sound chip, Miles Beaver, and this is the brand spanking new one that's just come out from Hornby. So when that class 24 comes round,
You just swap it over.
I will swap it over. So let's have a look.
Has it got no coal?
No, as I've decided to have it with the coal low. You can just take the coal insert out. So I'm just bringing the class 24 with the newspaper train round. Now I notionally modelled DR Blue, late 1970s, but I have a soft spot for anything shiny. Right, I hope it's going to pull this train. We're going to try and not take out the train.
The fuel
under
train, there'll be a big explosion otherwise.
No. Right, so let's take the class 24 off. Let's put that there for a moment. And for you, Angus's trains, I'm going to get this A4 on. Oh, I can't reach. Oh. I'm going to just keep talking to him, keep him amused. Oh, incidentally, Cupboard Monkey, if you're watching, I could do with a bit more lasagna. Right, I've got to try and not lean on the track because I'll end up giving myself a slight shock. Right.
Looks like it's on. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, A4 Pacific, Loco 6026.
Well, mine are still in their boxes. Yeah, I've got 30 odd boxes in my lounge. I've got a lovely wife because I'm having to
Toot toot.
yeah, because I'm having to dismantle Not Lobia in order to move things around. She's relinquished the living room on the dining room, 16 foot by 10 foot or 13 foot, possibly to build part of the station for the new Not Lob Winscott Dale. Has anybody come figured out what Winscott Dale is yet?
I know what it is.
So at the moment though, I'm just bringing all the boxes of stuff, and she looked at me today because she's been helping me sort the gallery out and everything. She said, oh, you're going to need a lorry just to move your railway, never mind having to move the house and everything. So, oh, it's working.
What were you
Shall
expecting?
I move so people can see?
no.
I'll come back. But
Come on,
have they got a
man.
clearer view?
It's just over there. I don't know. We've got really small screens, so Angus's trains for you. There's an A4 going round. Right.
4, 5, 6, 7, 10 units it's pulling.
Let's have a look. A4 with sound. That'll do nicely. Sorry if we're missing comments. It's really difficult to scroll back and not start missing stuff. So if you've got an important question and we've not got to you, then do ask it again. Don't just sort of flood the chat with it, but we'll try and get through to the comments. But Leslie Gilpin, is the parcels to or from Red Bank sidings? Funnily enough, I've got the Red Bank sidings shunter somewhere. Where's that? Here we are.
Will I come back now?
Yeah, you can do. That is an actual model of the 08721, which was the the shunter at Red Bank Sidings for quite some time. So I'm just going to put that back there. Oh, there we go, I think. Right, t-shirts. Yes, Angus's trains. I have dispatched the cupboard monkey to go forth and get lasagna, and when she gets here, thank you very much, cupboard monkey. T-shirts. Angus's trains is asking about the t-shirts.
Right, we've had little time for them. I won't come onto the screen, I'll just talk from here. I've had little time to get them, but we have designs. We have the covered monkey design.
Oh, right.
We have my layout, my rules.
Yes.
We have the JK logo.
Yes.
And was there anything else you wanted?
That's good for starters, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see how well they do, but yes.
Might be
Designs
interested in
are afoot.
one of those. Well,
Yes.
because there's only so much I can carry on wearing this.
There's only so many times you can wear the same shirt.
Well, no, we've got 3 of them, but one of them
Yeah,
I'm
we got-
putting up just to frame the badge and everything, to put in with some memorabilia photographs.
Yes,
Sounds good.
Yeah, so
Do you want any more lasagna?
I would say yeah, but no, I'm
he ate
stuffed.
before he came.
Fair enough.
I will have another coffee.
Okay, do you have a cup?
Yes.
There we are. But
Irish or
It
English?
can spill a little bit in
Fox Hill Railway.
with an extra sugar.
Slightly Irish.
Somebody said class 411. Funnily enough,
Jam?
Right,
Coffee?
yeah. No thanks.
Okay.
Somewhere in the sprawling metropolis,
What's it
I'm
looking
going to have to stop the class 20. So loco 2092. Stop. And then I can't be bothered finding the right switch, so let's go for loco 111. Okay, there we are. And I don't know where it is.
You've got rather a lot of locos.
Oops, wrong way. It's down in the fiddle yard at the moment,
right.
so I'm just.
I can hear another noise, I think.
So you look out behind us. It will appear somewhere here at the front. There you are. See, look there. We're just bringing out a class 411 because somebody said, "Oh, run a 411," and I, as it happens, happen to have one actually on the track and ready to go. So I've got this awful feeling that it doesn't have the power to make it up the incline.
Well, have faith.
Nope, it's. Give it a push, would you? From somewhere near the back, just push it up. See what I mean? The incline grade is a bit too steep for it. This is a design flaw. Just keep it pushing. It'll pop out here, and I'll grab it in a moment. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
That's a little.
Class 411. Whoa, gosh. So that's my class 411. Can't go all the way around because there's a class 20 sat over there, but yeah, I do have one. I'm going to put that away now.
Will it come up that incline?
Actually, let's have a look. I'm not sure. No, it doesn't get a lot of traction. That's it at full chat, actually. So,
Is there anything you can do to?
couple it in multiple with a class 419, I think. But I'm going to put it back away. But you can just see, I can see it on the screen there in the background. I do like the 411. And now that I've got a layout this size, it's really good to actually be able to keep it on the track, even if it is just living down in
How much would a setup like that cost?
what the actual train. I paid only £60 for it second hand, as new in a box. But the new price is about £300 now. But
I might get one.
if you shop around second hand,
Yeah.
probably about 120.
So it's a
something.
411. Does that come with 4 coaches? Is that?
Yeah, what you
That's
see
fine.
there is the full set. And it only needs
I like-
one DCC chip for all that, but it's an electric, an EMU. So let me just.
So like that
manually-
EMU, I've got that 2-car EMU. It's
Well,
the
that's
same.
a DMU, but you know, to all intents and purposes, on a model layout like this.
Before I can buy any more trains, I've got to get some blooming track done and a station made.
I know. Well, I said to you,
Yeah.
offered you the War of the Worlds layout. We're currently struggling to find a
Just,
home.
I've got nowhere to put it with everything else.
Yeah,
It's-
space is always the issue.
yeah.
Right. Oh, Somerset endorsed at 7F280. I don't actually. I've got the 4F. Yeah, Fox Hill Railway, Class 411 needs a 73 bunkering. Oh, Brockwell Lane.
Appreciate it.
Zoe, we've got another suggestion for T-shirts. One that just says the hand of God.
Right?
What,
What with an engine and that?
yeah, with a big hand coming from behind a cloud, maybe with a train in it.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll do that.
Mm.
Are these like motifs that you can pick up on, or you've got to actually do the design?
I'll draw them.
You draw them.
I'm not going to spend most of the live stream swapping out different people. Keep saying, "Oh, put this on, put this on." I can't just keep swapping out locomotives because we'll be here all night, which actually might be quite good. But maybe we should do a live running session at some point. That may be something to do in future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of the things we're planning for up here. Is multiple camera angles, but we need a new computer to do that. So
I think this is beautiful. The fact that is pulling so much and just coming up there. It's not struggling. It's just going nice and slow and steady. Beautiful little model that.
you got one of them. It's
Yes.
a Bachmann Class 20. They're very sure-footed. The Class 20s, 24s, 25s are really, really good runners.
Yeah. That's the one that the windows went missing on mine.
Ah, yeah, but you got them back.
I got them back, yeah, and the windscreen wiper as well.
Let's have a look. What's it? Wolfie Wolf T-shirt on the front. Give it a push, would you? Just from the back somewhere on the back. So look, LGR FBS has a standard for how the functions of locomotive decoders are listed. As a rule, if it's sound fitted, they do tend to usually. There is a sort of convention, but not everybody follows it, if that makes sense. In terms of lighting functions, there is pretty much a standard. But generally, whatever chip you get, it's probably best to have a look at the instructions that come with it. But
I don't have to worry about chips. I just give them to Jenny.
it does as well. I love Lasagna. I think my nickname should be Garfield. Queen of Speed Modelling, aka Garfield. Fox Hill Railway gives Sam's Trains a run for his money if you start a live request running session. It's a thought for a Jenny Monday club.
Blind Paul, those are from what, Standwell? No, that's pretty good.
Is that all? They're trying to guess what.
What Winscott Dale is an anagram of.
When you say it, people will be like, "Oh yeah."
I'll give them a clue. It's near Burton-on-Trent, but it's not Burton-on-Trent, obviously.
Angus's Trains. Can you get me 200 subs, please? I left him in my other pocket, but no. Anybody out there, don't forget, you can also take a look at Angus's Trains YouTube channel. There's some great running videos actually, and always good to sub and see what's new.
Yeah.
So let's see, what are you up to at the moment, Ang? I don't know why I keep looking over there.
And Angus, I mean, I have a page called Friends of Not Lobia, and if you want to join that, you're more than welcome to share your.
This is on
page.
Facebook.
It's on Facebook. I haven't got my YouTube working. Zoe's going to see if she can help me on that. But yes, if you go along to Friends of Not Lobia and like it, and then you can join on there, and you can post anything on there model railway related. You can put some funny memes on there, as long as there's nothing abusive, nothing political, nothing racist, none of the the nasty stuff that you sometimes get on Facebook. But there's anything that's light-hearted, humour or railway related. To do with your railway or any railways or anything to do with transport, because I have interest in cars and planes and trucks and all sorts. So pop along and have a look.
Sorry, I'm just stuffing my face in. I was hoping you'd talk a little bit longer so I could get my lasagna down my face. I love lasagna. Come on, say something.
A, B, C, D, F, testing 1, 2, 3. Because I'm not used to doing all the chats. It's
I'll get the staff.
no.
Although that's a good question. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Les, what got you into model railways?
Well, I think I said earlier on, it was my uncle and my nephews, not my nephews, my cousins when I was a little lad. They lived in Loughborough, and we had Lone Star, which were the metal track and push along trains.
They were about M-gauge. They were
Yeah,
quite
they
tiny.
were quite tiny, but you know, they were what we had to play with.
Yeah.
And then when they emigrated to Australia, my cousin's dad, my uncle, bought me a train set with a transformer. I can't remember the trains and things that were in it, but I think there was a couple. There was certainly a green diesel of some description, and there was a steam train, but I don't know what it was. I can't remember. And some flat trucks, cars and things like that. So I could make a reasonable oval, and my parents said, well, this is, you know, rather expensive to buy. And he said, well, I won't be seeing Les for many years, probably never ever see him again if we don't ever come back from Australia. So that's what.
It's a bit dark.
Well, it wasn't, because the opportunities were out there.
Yeah.
Just after
I don't believe me. You'll never see me again. I just think that's a bit dark.
Well, it was sad because David, my cousin, he was like my brother. We would play. I mean, we're still in contact now. David lives between Queenbarrow in Queensland and Tasmania. He's a conservator of bridges, trains, ships, tanks, cars. He travels all over the world doing this. He's 9 months older than me, so he's 65 already. And I've seen him a few times since they went out there. And one of the times when he came back was about 7 or 8 years ago, probably a bit longer. He'd come to do a talk at Edinburgh, I think it was Edinburgh or Glasgow, about the Forth Road Bridge, because there was issues, conservation issues with that, with it falling to pieces basically, or corroding. So he'd gone to a symposium there to discuss plans for that. And we went back on the narrow gauge railways for a weekend. We spent 3 days, 2.5 days in Wales, and we went on all 3 of the narrow gauge railways. But he's then gone back to Australia. His wife is a bookbinder, one of the few bookbinders out there. So she's got a large setup in Queensland. But they're coming back over this next year, about the same time my other daughter gets married. So I'm hoping that we'll get to see him again. But he's, he's always had a love of trains, even though he doesn't do the little trains now. He gets involved with the bigger toys, as it were.
Let's have a look.
Burton-on-Trent is great for his train spotting, and Wellington.
Yeah. I mean, before all the brewery lines, the connections to the breweries closed. There was an awful lot went on in Burton-on-Trent. A lot of little railways sort of winding through the streets.
I remember sort of the Bass breweries and everything, but back in the 60s, 70s, when I lived in, nearly said where I lived, in that part of the world, it was the dump. It really was the pits, literally, because there was lots of mining around there. My dad worked down the mines, and so did my granddad before him. And there was no future as such. That's why when I met my wife, I decided to settle up here in Manchester and Bolton. And now it's almost as if up here's become the pits, and back down there there's more sort of life and vibrancy going on.
Yeah, I think it's all about where it gets redeveloped.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just got it on here. Angus's Trains. Jenny, I've got another layout cam video coming out soon. So all the more reason for everybody to subscribe to Angus's Trains and take a look at that. If I need to run my camera wagon around here again at some point. I think the last time I did it, I haven't finished building it. What else have we got? Stuart Muir, and one is the blue Pullman with the yellow ends and Capital Connection train pack in Network Southeast, and the Bankman Anniversary train pack. I missed your first comment. I'm presuming that's follow on to that. But yeah, they're all good sets actually. A blue Pullman is one which I wouldn't mind getting. Just very expensive.
Is that the one that they had running through the GMRC?
That was the Midland Pullman, but essentially the same, yeah. The Growler Blackwood N-gauge layout, Triangle Hornby Freightmaster Class 37 with 7 wagons, and the rest they say is history. I presume that's about getting into model railways. 57-305 Northern Princess. On the same day as Worley Day 1 is Doctor Who's 56th anniversary on the 23rd of November. What do you think of Jodie Whittaker, Jenny, and have you and Zoe been buying the classic series on Blu-ray? Now, we've got the classic series on DVD. We've got a full set of every single one that they have released. I don't watch New Who. As far as I'm concerned, it kind of ended with Sylvester McCoy. The comments are coming in thick and fast at the moment. Let me just... Come on!
I must admit, I haven't watched Doctor Who since the days of probably John Pertwee or...
Oh, right.
I like the old style where it wasn't quite realistic.
With wonky sets and stuff.
Very liquid bubbles, you know, on their arms.
And people fluffing their lines, and they just kept it in. But Ritchie War Department 1915, Oxford and Didcot Parkway is great for freight train spotting. Yeah, it's kind of on a junction where there's a lot of freight still goes through there. And Brockwell Lane says Didcot is great for steam and modern. Well, of course, there's the Didcot Railway Centre there as well.
Yeah. I never did train spotting as such.
Neither did I have to say.
Ben Davis, Les Cliff, what's your favourite train on Jennifer's layout? Well, she's train or engine. She's got, how many engines have you got here in your collection? Well over 200?
Not quite. I've got about 180 something.
Oh, that was a good guess. I mean, I'm looking at that grey one up there, which was one that I was looking at Hatton's.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Let me. I can't. It's not DCC fitted, so I'm not able to just plonk it on and run it. But that's the Oxford Rail N7, I think that is. Yeah, N7, and it's a good heft to it. Yeah. There you are. Be careful with
it. I will. Yes.
But
just put it in your pocket. You won't miss it, will you?
Oh, blooming
will. There we are.
Yeah, but
no, I do like that. I think it's because it's not a standard colour.
It is quite different.
It is different.
That colour, yeah.
But there's so many. I like the A4s. I like some of the diesels and everything. So I'd be hard pressed to know how to say, well, that's my most favourite train.
See, my favourite at the moment is the Brighton H1 Atlantic, which is... I'll pull it down because it's easier to just show people. But, where are you? There you are. Brighton H1 Atlantic. So, my favourite locomotive is this. So that's, I think it's really...
Zoe would say that's a very pretty engine.
It's pretty.
I like the lining on it.
Yeah, and it's in that sort of burnt umber, marsh burnt umber.
Oh, right. I couldn't see it was brown from that side. Yes.
Yeah, the lighting up here for us with slightly middle-aged, stroke old eyesight.
See it for yourself.
Yeah, my eyesight's not what it used to be.
Mine's not too bad. But
this is actually DCC fitted, so
you'll be all right next year. We can all have 20/20 vision.
Oh, you've probably been waiting years to use that.
Yeah, I'm not the first one to say that either.
Oh dear.
It's nice that.
So I'm just seeing that. Yeah, if I put it there, it's actually in shot. So if I go,
is that sound fitted?
No, it's not sound fitted. So there we go, and that should just chug. It's a lovely locomotive, and that's currently my favourite. But yeah, I like them all. I wouldn't have bought them if I didn't like them. Which is why I don't have any Class 47s. A lot of people say, "Why haven't you got 47?" I'm not really that fussed. They don't do anything for me. So
well, it's like music, isn't it? Although things have changed now, you have a piece of music because you like it. You like listening to it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a piece of music if you didn't like it.
Yeah. So I can't stop playing with that. I can make it sound like he's shoveling coal.
Yeah, I've got that on the which one is it? West Country class.
West Country. I fitted one in. Which one did you buy? The G2A, the 080, the big tender load.
Oh yeah.
Because I fitted one in there.
Because it wouldn't fit into.
Because it wouldn't fit in the Drummond 700.
Yeah, right.
So
I've got two then. Because I know that the one...
You've got a few sound fitted.
Yeah, I have.
Because I know I fitted a couple for you.
Yeah.
But there we are.
Try them yet.
But I find the sound can get a bit tedious after a while. You can imagine like 4 or 5 trains going round sounding like that. And after a while, you run out of play value. It's like, I'm annoyed now, so turn that off. Train's still going round, but anywho.
Well, that's why I moved over to DCC, because I think there is more play value to have with the system than I was currently getting with the DC.
I see, for me, the DCC, it was about flexibility of running the trains, not necessarily the sound. I thought sound was the killer app for me, but actually, it's the fact you don't need to have separate switchable sections on your layout, and it doesn't simplify your wiring back to just 2 wires. No, it doesn't.
No. More complicated, I think, isn't it? Although
no, I'd say it's definitely less complicated, but it's not as easy as some people might try and have you believe. But Warrington Train Spotter 2778, will you have a Sunday meetup soon for Christmas? No immediate plans at the moment. I'm afraid I am incredibly busy at the moment, so you know, we'll have to see what happens. I like transport. How about a class 43 HST and a class 20 on a t-shirt, 20 passing the HST at a station? Slow and steady wins the race.
Need to move again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That buttock's gone to sleep, so I'm changing over.
His bottom's gone to sleep. I don't know. The thing about t-shirts is actually simple designs usually win through best. Melchester Model Railway just tuned in late to find you up in the loft. Great. Oh, thank you very much. For some reason, this computer is really struggling. Actually, it's 15 years old, the one that I'm using to read the comments, so it is struggling. I like transport. Jenny doesn't have a pacer. No, she doesn't. Oh yeah, Dungeonwood Model Railway. I love my 24 and 25 sound if it's not too loud. Yeah, there's some locos that are pretty good. I would say that Gronks. Richie War Department 1915, Game Hammer Classic Gaming. The good old 0809 shunters, the Gronks. I've got a few sound ones somewhere, but I might fire them up later on. For some reason we're right back to the newest comments. Give Les a cushion. There is that under there. I don't know whether you could. Oh, there's a chair on
There's all sorts on top of it.
It's a bit bad. Cupboard monkey, could we have a cushion? Les needs a cushion.
You'll not invite him again. He's a bloody nuisance.
New Mills Model Railway. Weir Yard is so nice to look at. Very inspiring too. Well, thank you very much. Leslie Gilpin. I travelled on a pacer the other week just for the heck of it. A comfy Welsh one though, not a nasty northern one. No, let's have a look.
And Weir Yard is amazing because I remember seeing how you had to start up here with all the dust and the muck. Thank you, Mrs. Cupboard Monkey.
Cupboard Monkey's really efficient today.
Yes.
Here's your bloody cushion.
Ow! Don't mess up my hair. Ian Ryan, why is Weir Yard so called? I think when when Cottesmore interviewed me last week, it was one of the questions I answered then.
Much better.
Weir Yard is actually inspired by Tyne Yard, but isn't actually Tyne Yard. It takes a lot of aspects of it and builds it together to make this marshalling yard. And I thought, in the same way that stop it. She's going to poke me with a big green.
God.
But in the same way that
You've got something in your hair.
Yeah, a green finger.
What have you done? You hit me with a cushion, you did. See what I've got to work with? Oh, but essentially, Bolton Trinity Road out this shed was based on Bolton Trinity Street, but it wasn't an exact copy, so I felt it was a little bit arrogant to call it the same name. So consequently, as well, up here, I thought, well, it's inspired by Tyne Yard, but it's not Tyne Yard. It's not Tees Yard either. But the other major river in that area is the River Wear. Yeah. So I called it Weir Yard.
Yeah. Not Weird Yard, Weir Yard.
Yeah, Weir. It's the River Wear. It runs through Durham and Sunderland, I think. Lee Phillipson. I think they should do a celeb GMRC. I think yes, but they couldn't afford all the celebs. It'd take a lot of money to do that. Yeah. James Pets, hitting you with a cushion. How very Timmy Mallet. Oh, Mallet's Mallet. I remember watching that on a Saturday morning. James Hardy, do you have a Flying Scotsman, Jenny? I'm afraid I don't. No,
I do.
Yeah,
With
no,
sound
you do.
and smoke
Flying
and lights.
Scotsman, or the Flying Money Pit, as I disparagingly call it, is one of those locomotives that it doesn't do anything for me. So I don't actually have
What are you up to, Cupboard
any
Monkey?
A3 in my collection. I guess if I got an A4, we're going to have some kind of
Here,
thing.
can I give you a hand?
Robot Wars.
Can I give you a hand?
No, you can't. Right, okay, come on, come on, grow up.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Grow up, adults. Curio by Bespoke Designs. Pete Wardman and Rod Stewart team off the rails. You could also have Anne Diamond for that female connection. She's a railway modeller.
Oh, right.
Also Roger Daltrey, I believe,
Yeah.
is a railway modeller. Who else could we have as a celeb? Me? No, not a big enough celeb yet.
The guy who does the New Year.
Jules Holland.
Jules
yes.
Holland, yes, he's
Jules Holland.
Who
always like-
Rod
Who
Stewart.
does everything in reverse and is always sounds very excitable. So it's like Florence and the Machine as he walks backwards introducing them. I'd love to be in. Jules, if you're secretly watching this, as one of the we've got 133 people on. If you're one of the lurkers, Jules Holland, please invite me to the Hootenanny. I would love to just be in the audience. Will you stop it? I'm trying to.
Bye-bye.
I'm trying to connect with Jules Holland
She's
here,
trying
and
to
all
look
you're
professional.
doing is a blooming pink and green hand in my face. James Pett, that's interesting. Jules Holland, interesting. A friend of my mother taught him to play the piano, I'm told. Interesting. Well, obviously, he must have learnt at some point. 57305 Northern Princess. Stafford is a great place for freight. Yes, it is. If you check out my channel and subscribe, there is plenty of action at Stafford. That's it, everybody. 57305 Northern Princess. Head on over, check them out on YouTube after the live stream, of course. What else have we got? Oh, Kevin MacLeod, the Growler, Blackwood, Engage, Lack. I thought Kevin MacLeod does a lot of the royalty-free music for YouTube, or maybe it's a different.
Is that not the architect guy?
I'm not sure. I like
Yes.
transport. What on earth is going on? I don't know. I think it's Cupboard Monkey related. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Have we tried for a bad episode of Robot Wars? Unfortunately, the Cupboard Monkey has had way too much sugar. Earlier on, I bought the Cupboard Monkey a Cadbury's Twirl.
Oh.
Other chocolate bars are available, and she had a pack of chocolate chip cookies, and that means that she is bouncing off the ceilings.
Or
Right.
swinging from the ceilings,
Yeah,
as monkeys do.
Brockwell Lane, Frank Sinatra liked his model trades. I think you probably find actually a lot of people
Yeah.
have a secret liking for
Yeah.
trades. What's not to like? There's nothing not to like, is there? I'm going to dare to scroll up if I can.
See if we missed anything.
We've missed loads, but
Yeah.
this computer is starting to chug.
But nobody's come up with the name of the place unless we've missed it. Where
We may have missed it.
could you come to Australia?
Oh yeah, Angus is traced there. Could you come to Australia? I do have relatives out in Warrigal, which I think is near Melbourne. Or is it Sydney? It's either Sydney or Melbourne. A place called Warrigal. I don't even know what their surname is. I think it might be Swift, but I could be wrong. I don't think it's Kirk. But yeah, I'd love to go out to Australia.
Amen.
It's one of those places I would love to visit. When I was younger, I did contemplate actually emigrating to Australia. I didn't do that, obviously, because I'm still here. And I suspect that actually I'd have probably got very homesick, maybe.
Or fed up of being called Sheila.
Sheila?
Sheila.
Pommy. What is it? What do you got? The Pommy.
Pommy bastard.
Angus is only like about 14 or so. Don't you watch that potty mouth, Angus? I'm looking at you.
Sorry, Angus. Sorry,
Don't
Angus.
copy him. He's got a filthy mouth. Right. Mark Croucher asked earlier about turning off the sound. There's no sound at the moment. I've turned the sound off on the A4. I can make it whistle, but I'm not going to because I get a bit tired of the sound as well after a while. Gronk's at the best. Tim JD down to Sim's scrapyard on Newport Docks. I like transport. I'm going to get some people angry for saying this, but I don't like that Atlantic. No, you don't have to. Don't worry about it. This is art and aesthetics.
Yeah.
The thing about aesthetics is that there's no right or wrong, and it's why actually judging GMRC is not really possible to do without an objective framework. Because it's like I always say, it's like trying to judge a Jackson Pollock against a Vincent van Gogh. Just purely on your gut instinct of what you like and what you dislike. You can't judge a competition like that because it's not really a competition then. And I don't like stuff like class 68s, class 70s, 47s, not that fussed with 58s, all those sort of things, 92s, 60s. That would be really weird measurements. I might be a little bit tubby, but I'm not that tubby. But certainly, one person's poison is another person's pure gold. So it doesn't matter if you don't like it.
If we all like the same thing, life would be boring.
It would actually, yeah. We'd all be like living in our little chocolate box ticky-tacky houses. James Hardy, Pace is going to the scrapyard soon. Yeah, I've heard that as well. VC Southern Railway, Roger loves the H classes and La France. Yeah. So Richie War Department 1915. What's your favourite steam locomotive that's mainline certified? I'm not sure. I don't really keep up on what is mainline certified and what's not. I know Union of South Africa is an A4, and I think is that the only. That may even be.
Is that the one that we saw in the Slank
It
Railway?
is, yeah. Actually, I think Bitton is mainline certified as well. I don't know. I've never really thought about it. It has to be said.
UK transporting. What's he saying, Les? That's quite right.
Where are we looking at?
Underneath that second lot of blue. Quite right, Leslie. But I don't know what it's in answer
Oh,
to.
UK transporting. Quite right, Leslie. It'll be
Something that was said earlier on.
any weekday at Newport is good for freight spotting. Chug. If I'm missing comments, it's because we're really chugging on this 15-year-old computer that we're using to access the comments through YouTube. It's running Windows XP Professional. It's got 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, which I'm led to believe is pretty atrocious these days, and it's a Pentium P4 running at 2 gigahertz. So I gather that's a rubbish spec. It wasn't when it was new, but it's 15 years old. I'm trying to get down to the newest comments. Oh god. Is there anything Cupboard Monkey can't get you? I have asked for a suitcase full of used £5 notes, non-consecutive bill numbers, but sadly that has not been forthcoming.
Or a decision on Brexit. She can't do that either.
I know what she wants. Oh, hark, I hear Cupboard Monkey activity. Don't get us started on politics. This is a politics-free zone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, to be honest, railway modelling's more fun if we don't descend into arguing about Brexit. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. LGR FBS, here in Sweden we've got an electric loco in the original colour that goes in normal traffic still. Do you have any locomotive in full scale that still has its original colour and runs in normal traffic? I guess sometimes there's things like 47s and 37s end up in like a heritage livery. Class 8s don't really venture out on the main line, but there are some that do get painted back into original livery, even though they're working commercially. Trying to think, I think Class 86s, if any of those turned out in electric blue. I'm not sure. I'm not really up on the modern scene, it has to be said. Let's have a look. Will Fowler. Hi Jenny. Will from the USA here. Hi Will. It's great to have you along. Always great to have people from all around the world. I'm afraid our invisible map that we used to bring out downstairs so we could put pins in for where everybody was from, we've left it downstairs. So unfortunately all I've managed to bring up is my air guitar. So chucking out a few power chords. Oh, actually, no, that looks a bit rude when I play my air guitar there. New Mills Model Railway, and you thought you were safe from Cupboard Monkey by escaping to the loft. Now the Cupboard Monkey has her uses.
Is that clock telling the right time up there, Jenny?
Should be, yeah.
Oh, I just noticed that and thought...
I was about to check my phone for the time, but my phone is there. Where's the camera? Yeah, that's my phone, and so I can't check the time because if I touch anything, it'll break. Right. Let's have a look. Where? Oh no, it's just done the jumpy thing. Right. Where are we up to? Oh, for some reason we're not at the bottom. I think we've broken. I think James Pets. There are HSTs and Class 91s in heritage liveries at present. Aha. And Tim JD Dowd says a couple of 67s are still in original EWS livery. James Pets, and of course all the latest locomotives will still be in their original liveries. Yes. Gamehammer Classic Gaming. Oh god, there's too much sugar gone on there. Wolfie Wolf, Jenny and Les, if you could change anything about the modelling game, not cost, what would it be?
Anything about the modelling game? It's a hard one, that.
Make paints that dry instantly, so that you can paint figures and then immediately touch them, and that would speed things up. I hate waiting for paint to dry, so I think really paint that dries super quick when you paint it on, but doesn't make your paintbrush go hard.
Yeah. Or cardboard models that you don't have to colour the edges of.
Yes, yeah.
Pre-coloured.
Plastic kits that you don't have to trim the sprue and swarf off.
Yeah. And plastic kits that don't melt with certain glues. You know,
yeah.
I find that, you know, if something breaks off a mod, I'm doing some repairs at the moment and using the glue, the plastic cement to glue them, and it's melting the actual model. It's not trains or anything, it's
like airfix
kits and things. So where the strength of the glue doesn't react properly with all plastics. I can't think of anything major really.
Stanley knife blades that never go blunt.
Yeah.
Les knows all about that. Yeah. Let's have a look what else we got. Some 66s are apparently still in original EWS. Brockwell Lane, Too Much Sugar t-shirt. I think it's probably already been done, to be honest.
Yeah.
Gamehammer Classic Gaming. Yes, that is a good point. Standardised sizes and connections for DCC chips. I think that's what the Plux standard is supposed to be about. But here in the UK, we like to do things differently. So I'm not aware of any UK outline trains that take the Plux standard of chips. 21 pin does seem to be reasonably standardised, but certainly 8 pin and 6 pin, it is a whole minefield, and I would like a standard form factor. The Trainomatic DCC 6 pin chips that I tested recently, they've got a really good small form factor. Also have to name check the Gagemaster DCC 23 chips, they've got a similar form factor. Out of all that's on the market, those are the two that pretty much you can guarantee will fit in anything, but so many chips just don't fit in the locomotives. What is that about?
Well, that was like with the one that you were going to do for me, it didn't fit into the space with the speaker and everything, did it?
Yeah, some locomotives, they're just a nightmare to DCC chips. Tim JD Dowd, somebody invents something to change the points, etc., without the need for all the wiring. I guess you could do that on DCC. You'd have a decoder that would change the points just wired to the track. So effectively it takes its power from the track. You just have an integrated module in the point, put everything together, and then it just has an ID and like bish bash bosh. So theoretically that is possible. Leslie Gilpin, well, in Illinois Railroad Museum the other month, they have a preserved Wisconsin Central loco whose livery was basis for EWS colours. Yeah, I believe so. I like transport. How does this work t-shirt? Picture of someone trying to get a DCC chip in. It's got to be fairly simple, the pictures, otherwise they just become a bit of, you know, they're not immediately obvious. What's that? Tim, somebody, oh, Leslie Gilpin.
It's
Tim,
called
it's called a finger. And Angus's trains, they've still got the HST, they call it XPT in Australia. Yeah, actually, yeah, because Australia has certain locomotives like the Class 8 Shunter as well made it out to Australia, sort of. They were made by English Electric. So, and I think the Class 50 from English Electric made it to Portugal. Let's have a look. Warrington train spotted 2778. What size is your layout, Jenny? It's this size. I don't know, I've never measured it, I'll be honest with you. Leslie Gilpin, try fitting Dcc Decoder in N-scale US
I
locomotive.
would say it's about 16 foot. If you sort of say, I know we're not quite 6 foot, if you lay it end to end, there's two bodies length, so that's 12 foot, maybe 14 foot by
I'd say 16, maybe even 18 feet by 12 feet.
yeah. It's a good size.
It is actually. I mean, it is a huge size. We've got as you can see, the roof sloping down there. It slopes down behind me, and in front of the camera it slopes down because we're at the end of the terrace. So if we'd have been next door, we'd have had a vertical wall there and a vertical wall there, which would have given a lot more space. But you know, it's space that wasn't getting used for anything.
Yeah.
So.
And it's secure as well, isn't it? Which
There, Angus's trains. The Victoria Railways F class is a BR Class 9. I didn't realise it was a Class 9. I thought it was based on the Class 8. I didn't know that. Angus's trains. No, I don't see them often. Alright. Yeah, because Angus has done a lot of filming of stuff out and about. It's on his channel. So it says he's not seen the XPTs. Don't see them often. Yeah, a Growler Blackwood Engage layout. Yes, Class 50s in Portugal. Yeah, Flying Scott. Both 59 and the 66 are in use in the Netherlands. Also, the 37s and the Class 20s made it abroad. Class 3s, Class 4s, Class 14s. What else made it abroad? I think technically were there any Class 10s or Class 11s made it abroad? I'm not sure. Oh, and the 86s, was it 86s or the 87s made it to Bulgaria as well. Basically, I think DCC connects. What I would like is actually, there's some locomotives, you just kind of open a hatch. On the Dapol BT well tank, you just open the smoke box door, pull out a little board on a wire, and you can plug the chip in, so you don't even need to take the top off. The Bachmann Lancashire and Yorkshire radial tank, you just take the bunker off to fit the DCC chip. And some of these are actually a great way of doing it, and I just wish there was more thought to how the end user would fit DCC chips. Now, the worst locomotive I've ever come across for its DCC chip socket placement is the Dapol London and South Western Railway B4 tank. You have to dismantle the locomotive by removing the keeper plate off the wheels and run the risk of the wheels and all the side rods just falling apart and dismantling themselves just to get the DCC chip in. It is a really poor design. Blind Paul, Class 56 is in Romania. James Cleveley, some 08s went to Libya. Kestrel went to Russia. Yes. I think there might be some Class 8s got to Egypt as well. Yeah, Canadian rail fan. Hi Jenny from over Canada. I believe they trialled Class 50s in Canada, but with the extra 3,000 brake horsepower. Yeah. Manon 2003, Class 37, 56 and 58 went to France, plus 58 to Spain and the Netherlands. I think the 37s got to Spain as well. Leslie Gelpin, the Class 56 originally came from Romania, but blame Harold Wilson and Ceausescu. Let's have a look. Richie War Department 1915. Richard Hall. I've missed a comment there. It's gone off the top. But yeah, Rod 5322 and the 43XX range if they become a success. Certainly we're seeing much more in the way of stuff that's in rail operating division livery, which is nice. Starkiller 100, where's the geezer you had a fight with? What, you mean the finger?
Zoe.
Ooh, had a fight with the finger. J. Paul Anderson, yes, Great Central Railway, the Robinson 8K, which was later the LNER Rofos went to France, Middle East. They actually, I think, they Turkey, they got all over. They also ended up, there was 14 of them were exported to Australia. So the Robinson 8K, I think it's either 2 or 3 survive out in Australia, and there's 1 survives in the UK. But the Stanya 8F, they got all over Iran, Iraq, Turkey, even China had some. Leslie Gilpin, a pacer ran in Vancouver, British Columbia in '86. Apparently the Iron Lady actually rode on it. Yeah, Leslie Gilpin, there are a pair of 8Fs at the bottom of the Red Sea. There's a few actually went down due to enemy action. But yeah, anyway, let's, shall we change the train? Any suggestions? Let's open it to the floor. Any suggestions for changing the train? There's only certain trains I can...
Warrington Train Spotter. Les, I'm just struggling to read. Les, have you started your new layout? Yes and no. I'm in the process of boxing everything up in these very big Tupperware boxes. My wife has graciously let me take over the dining room to store everything like a secure storage depot. So at the moment I'm in the process of transporting stuff from the gallery, from the basement, into the car. We've done about 6 trips now with the boxes loaded up into the car, and they're literally all along one wall in the dining room. But it's my intention to try over next year, while the business, or while the building that the gallery is in is selling, to actually start and construct the main station layout. But I've set up a workstation. I found an old computer table which had been under the railway boards down in Knotloby. It's actually been supporting some more melamine that I'd used to make part of the table. So that's now having a much more useful function, and I'm doing some repairs, and I'm actually trying to make a tram. It's a corgi tram, and there's a little motor that you can build to actually motorise this. So I'm having a dabble with that, because I would like to have a moving tram on part of the layout, part of the townscape. I've got trams that are all illuminated, but they are static, so I'm hoping I can get a movable one as well. So what have we got running now, Jenny? We've got...
somebody asked for Gronks, so there are 2 Class 8s running.
Why are they called Gronks? I'm showing my ignorance. But...
It's to do with the sound that they make when they're running. They sort of go like Gronk, 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 Gronk. And it's just a nickname that they acquired. Somebody's asked, can you run the Hatton's P class? Unfortunately, the P class is not DCC fitted yet. Are they? Oh no, they're still going.
How are you doing those as double-headed?
I set the first one up at notch 60 on the power. I then put the second one in front, coupled it up, and then set it to go at the same speed.
All right.
So it's not true double heading, as it were. It's my little workaround, because I'm too lazy to set up a consist.
Right.
Oh, I've got tremendous heartburn off that.
Well, I've got a diesel that it's a DC one.
Somebody wanted a class 37. Oh look, there's a class 37 on the turntable. 37, number 37116. So what we're going to do is record. Dum dum dum.
Yeah, while Jenny's setting that up, I've got a diesel that was... I got it off eBay. It wasn't particularly expensive, but it turned out that the motor wasn't working properly and it wouldn't run on DCC. Jenny had a look at it and said basically the engine's no good, so just use it as a dummy or a scrap engine. So I've stripped all of the mechanics out of it, and it just freewheels now, but I can put that either in front or behind another diesel, and it'll, in effect, it'll look like it's double-headed, whereas it's just the one diesel pulling it.
This is going to fire up because this is a quirk. Before people say, oh, it's noisy. The sound chip that's in this is a soundtrack sound chip. and it rather arrogantly just turns itself on when it receives power. So, locomotive 3716, I think that's the right one. Oh, it's a bit loud, isn't it? Oh, toot toot.
Where's it gone? Oh, over there.
Oh, that does sound like it's off the track.
Yes, it's...
Oh, well, we just... As you can see, that locomotive rapidly starts to grate on you. Oh, I've got tremendous heartburn. Cupboard monkey, have we got anything for heartburn? Like Rennie's or something?
Or a surgeon.
Oh no. We can mute the sound.
I had an interesting thing happened with my version of that.
So we've got a 37 running now.
I think mine's a 37.
Ooh.
With similar sounds and everything, and I was running it, and then all of a sudden it decided it didn't want to respond to the DCC, and it just reverted back to whatever was in before and shot in the opposite direction.
Very occasionally I've seen DCC chips forget all their settings. It's like they reset themselves to factory default. I've had that with a couple of chips, and it just like was a random occurrence. I don't know if they shorted out or something, but it does happen. It doesn't generally damage them. I had one which actually it reset to factory defaults and then write protected itself, so you couldn't then change the settings without finding a CV to change to unwrite protect the settings on it. It was all very peculiar. I like transport. I thought you only had one motorised 37. Eisteddfod, Gened Lythol. No, I've got two motorised 37s. Both sound fitted, but 37116 is actually my favourite, it has to be said. So it's creeping round, but I've turned the sound off. There we go. Because after a while it gets a bit irritating.
I like that 37 noise.
Oh, do you?
No, I like train spots.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, Ham Shackleton, DCC chips going daft. Can be a bit of dirt on the trackle wheels, etc. Can be a momentary spike on the power rails. Yeah, I think with mine, it momentarily shorted. And that's what made that particular one do the weirdy thing. Oh, heartburn. Cupboard monkey, bring me things for heartburn. It hurts so much. What are you looking for, Les?
No, I'm just looking.
What else have we
Wish
got?
mine was set up like this. It will get there one day again.
Ritchie War Department 1915. I do love the clagging of a 37 when it revs up. Yeah, it does have quite a distinctive sound. That's a soundtrack sound decoder that's in it, and they're kind of midway between Hornby TTS and the really expensive stuff. So, oh, excuse me. Basically, the Soundtracks DCC Decoder is quite an interesting one, actually. It has about 6 different locomotive sounds on it, and you change your CV to decide which locomotive it's going to pretend to be. So, Class 37 is one of them. I think it also does Class 20, Class... what else is it? Class 20, Class 40, Class 37... I think it does Class 47, but it also does first generation DMU, so I've got one in my Class 101 as well. But they're about £65, so they're about half what like a Zemo or a Legoman Biffo sound chip is, but they're more expensive than a TTS. Let's have a look. Richard Hall, that sound decoder characteristic is very akin to US models, where sound is given as standard with a separate CV function choice for specific startup sequences, rather than start with trackpad. I do need to investigate. There may be a way of sorting that bad boy out. Oh, something.
Stop.
We have a short. So
What?
Silly me off.
Right, we have no Rennies. The best I could do for her is milk.
all right, thank you.
Did it stick
So-
on the point?
Yeah, the 37 managed to short out on the point. Oh, that really hurts as it goes down. I don't normally get heartburn, but it's horrible when I do. Thank you very much, Cupboard Monkey. Right. I need to find all my settings of locomotives now.
Has it stopped them on?
Yeah. Oh, no, I removed that. Let's have a look. Oh, 8, 5,
Computer's gone
0,
off.
7. Oh, hold on.
That sounds like something.
Could you just pull that train slightly out of the tunnel and then tell me what... No, pull it the other way from the back.
On this way.
Yeah, very, very carefully. I need the running number of what the Red Star Parcels Class 8's got on the side. What
08721.
8, 7, 2... Loca, 8, 7, 2, 1.
It's moving now.
Radio, and
Let's see, because what it basically it's got its brakes on, hasn't it?
something like that, yeah. Right. There we go, finally got there in the end. Ken Ray, I found the JMRI Decoder Pro utility is a great way to program DCC sound chips. Makes it much easier, plus you can save the config for each loco on your computer and restore it if needed. That's actually a pretty good idea. Brockwell Lane Class 68s have a good low growl to them. Yeah, Robert Scott, LNER had an experimental train called Hush Hush. Yeah, that was the W1, I think. I like transport. One of my decoders factory defaulted. It was very annoying. Yeah, it is annoying when it happens, although thankfully it doesn't happen that often.
Well, the guy I got it off, I spoke to him on eBay, and it was very understanding. I sent it him back, and he changed the chip and everything, sent it back to me.
So what was this?
This was the one where the 37 would be going on the DC.
You couldn't reset it? It just wouldn't let you...
I did. I reset it a couple of times, but every time it would go so far, and then it would just suddenly shoot off in the opposite direction.
How strange.
So I checked my track. There was nothing on the track. I thought, there was a short circuit on that, but no, because it wasn't in the same place. Sometimes it did it on a curve, sometimes it did in a different part.
It sounds to me like there's a loose connection somewhere. I mean, so I guess sometimes you can have like a dry solder joint somewhere on the PCB, and you'd never be able to find that. So I guess you're just really unlucky. I'm just checking. Yeah, it's still going round. But yeah, anybody got any other requests?
Anybody come up with the name of the place where I came from?
Oh yeah,
They've given up.
Can I say what I think it is then?
Go on then, go on.
Swaddling coat?
Correct.
Swaddling coat. Why do I keep looking over there?
Yeah, swaddling coat. Swad. And my dad was a miner, and his cousin was Jack Bedell, the boxer.
Oh, interesting. Are we talking about the Richard Hall? Backman's the best 47, although Helgen are retooling theirs, starting with certain subclasses not announced.
Sorry, Ian,
which
we've given the game
definitive-
away. The clue was that one of my stations is going to be called Winscott Dale, and it was an anagram of swaddling coat. Which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, that is actually, because it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Although not lob just sounds a bit like. But
Well, yeah, Not Love was always meant to kind of Monty Python-esque sort of take.
Right, okay, let's have a look at a Duchess. Any request for, I can do LMS Maroon, Crimson Lake, or BR Green for a Duchess. New Mills Model Railway. Which colour Duchess do you want? BR Green. Okay, Duchess of Montrose it is. I've got the Monty Python theme music going around in my head now.
Earworm.
There we go. Right. It's going to have to go on the same track as the 37. So there we go. Stop the 37, and I keep talking to them. Keep talking to them.
Keep talking to them.
So that's going to be the next locomotive. Hornby BR Green, Duchess of Montrose, great model.
Yeah.
This is actually sound fitted as well.
Right.
But I'll give it a blast once it's actually on the track. Do you have any idea what happened to that railer that we had when we did GMRC?
Oh, that like black piece of plastic.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it on the board, but I've not seen it since.
Who got that at the end?
No idea.
Are they just? Oh, they're still going.
Still going. Still
There's a lot of stuff just
plonking along.
Yeah. So, I guess one of the other team members must have bagged and tagged it. It's a shame, really. Actually, I could do with one of them. But,
Is it not possible to make one? You know,
possibly.
Because what's inside it? Is it just a?
Well, it's just a moulded piece of plastic that effectively funnels the train down and puts it on the track.
Oh, right.
Right. Let's have a look. 4632. So loco 4632.
Good evening, Philip Page.
Hi to you. Tim JD Dowd. Jenny, what do you think of the overall sound of steamers compared to the diesels? All of my steamers, without exception, are TTS chips, and I'm a big advocate of the TTS chips. I think they offer great value for money, but the chuffing doesn't necessarily match up with the wheel rotation. One of the ways it's a little bit cheaper, and I think they are pretty good.
Ooh, sorry,
are you all right?
I'm all right.
And,
no damage. No damage. Sorry, little Vanguard.
I think certain locomotives are better than others. The Class 8s I thought were pretty good. The Class 20, the TTS Class 20 chip is a masterpiece. I can't fault it. In terms of steamers, sound good to me. There's a lot more variety, I guess, in TTS in the steam locomotives, but no particular preference. This is the Princess Coronation. We have an issue.
We have a derailment or an uncoupling. It's uncanny that it can work for hours and hours, and then all of a sudden a little gremlin decides to jump onto the track.
Yeah, it does that just because it knew that I was being distracted by sorting that out. So I don't know if that. No, it's not quite in shot. And at some point, just look sort of over there somewhere, and you will see the Princess Coronation, Duchess of Montrose go past. I'm just looking on the screen to see if we can see it. It should be passing behind us. Let's have a look. Andy 1962. Hornby Duchess of Montrose is a great model. I have a Duchess of Hamilton and it's a great runner. TTS decoders are good for what they cost. Yeah, totally agree. Personally, I think the 08 has the best TTS sound. Yeah, I'd agree, the 08 is a really good one, but my personal preference is the Class 20. In fact, so much so, I'm going to stop the chuffing on that. Bear with me.
Bear with.
Where is she? So, this is my TTS sound fitted Class 20. So, I'm going to put it on the... Oh, that blooming thing's just gone in the way. I'm going to... So I don't know how well these sounds are coming across. For those people watching on the live stream, are you actually hearing the sound chips well, or are they just sort of like muffled in the distance? So 8,000, enter, and this is the TTS Class 20. And I just think that is a really great sound. It just sounds like the real deal. So there's a lot of great sound functions on this. I'm just sort of randomly stabby things. I just think the sound on the Class 20, which hopefully you can hear okay there, is really, really good.
That's the same as, or similar, isn't it, to the newer model there?
Yeah, yours is in BR green as well, so it's very similar to the one you've got. I just think that the Class 20 is a really good sound. And there we are, just shutting it down. You get that kind of turbo whine. So, I like transport. I'll call it easy to put the TTS chips in the 8-pin backman. A converter is required for 21-pin. Just bear in mind though that the 8-pin backman chassis tend to be the older ones and won't have the cutout to easily take the speaker. So it swings and roundabouts. It's very easy. You can get these 21-pin to 8-pin adapters. They're dead easy. What you may find that you have to do is to saw the 8-pin socket off and then hardwire the wires from the TTS chip to those solder points, just because the vertical clearance can be an issue. The 8-pin backman chassis, I did require to do that because of the limited vertical height. Other locomotives like the Backman C-Class, I was able to fit a TTS chip into that by actually unscrewing the 21-pin socket from its mounts and fitting it upside down loose with the adapter, and then everything fitted in. So it swings and roundabouts. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. What happened to all the rolling stock on GMRC? Did it all go back to Hornby? No, it was generally our own rolling stock.
Yeah.
So, for example, let me just get the 20 out of the way. And let's see now. 2 locomotives that you'll remember from GMRC. That's the Waterman Railways Class 20 that you saw on the final layout, and if you were very shrewdly observing, you would have seen it as well tucked out of the way in the goods yard on War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And then the War of the Worlds locomotive was this one, which is my Class 31. What's that noise? Oh no, it's alright. I thought something had derailed then. So there's the Class 31 that did sterling performance. You can see it in the trailer for the show. You can see it in the credits. This thing got a lot of airtime, but yeah, basically it was our own locomotives and stuff, because we put pretty much all the budget towards getting the scenery and stuff. I know other teams got themselves some nice snazzy locomotives, but we kind of took the competition very seriously and thought, you know, that's a bit rude to just take and pocket rolling stock. So by and large, we just used our own, so we could use more of the budget for scenic stuff. Let me just put these away. But yeah, nothing had to be sent back.
No.
Essentially, everything that arrived for GMRC became ours to keep at the end of filming. Brockwell Lane. Jenny, do you have a HST? No, I don't. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Is that Class 31 a Lima model? Wash your mouth out with soap. That's the all singing, all dancing Hornby Super Detail one, I'll have you know. Curio by Bespoke Designs. Apple managed to get good bass from tiny speakers. They do actually. iPhone speakers, you can pick them up off places like eBay and that, and it is possible to make good use of them. The only thing you have to remember is to match the ohmage to the chip. TTS chips, for example, they're designed to run with an 8 ohm speaker. The iPhone speakers, I think think are 4 ohms. You need to connect 2 in parallel. Andy 1962, Jenny, can you tell me if TTS sound chips operate light function in Bachmann locos? If the Bachmann loco has a light function, then yes. It's pretty standard. The F0 operates the lights. Indeed, if it has other auxiliary functions, so for example, if you were to put sound into, let's say, a class 85 has 2 different lighting functions. So if you were to put a TTS sound chip, there aren't a suitable sound chip, but let's say you just like, for the giggles of it, you put a class 40 sound chip in there. I believe you'd have to look in the manual, but it's something like F18 would operate what on other chips would be your F1 second lighting function for the cab lights. So all of the functions that the Bachmann locomotive has for lightings can be operated from a TTS chip. Ian Ryan, 2 4-ohm speakers equals 2 ohm. No, connected in series, not parallel. Well, look. Yeah, I like transport. Absolutely right. What you got to remember is series and parallel. It's the same function as like with resistors, lights and stuff. If you wire things in parallel, the resistance drops, but the voltage across them remains the same. If you wire things in series, you add up the resistance. So 4 ohm plus 4 ohm, you've just got to wire it in series, not parallel. Yeah, Robert Scott, absolutely right. Andy 1962, you're absolutely welcome. Yeah, so it's worth, when you get a Hornby TTS chip, it comes with like a little booklet, a little paper booklet with all the details you need, and tucked away in there it will tell you which functions you need to access to be able to turn other things on and off. And don't quote me on that, it's something like F18 is the auxiliary 1 function, but they are there and are accessible. It's also the case, actually, I'm trying to remember which locomotive it was. It may have even have been the Helgen Metropolitan Bobo, and the number of different light functions on that is just unreal.
Oh, I suddenly thought, what's happened there? We've got trucks coming up with no engine. When did they get here?
Oops. Oh, we're making a hash of this. Right, hold on. Just talk amongst yourselves. We've had a little bit of an issue.
Had some troublesome trucks.
Yeah, we have actually. They've deceitfully decided to derail some. Or not derail, but just decouple.
Decouple after, again, no apparent reason.
Yeah. Just did it because it thought we weren't watching.
It's a little leprechauns or gremlins.
Mm. Oh dear. So, right, just give me one moment. You keep talking. Come on.
Are we stuck?
Yeah. Cupboard Monkey, would you do some troll removal? Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, Robert Scott, so 2 times 4 ohm can be equal to 8 ohm. It can be, yes. Wiring them in series, which basically means from the speaker output on the chip, you wire into one speaker, out from that speaker into the next speaker, and then back to the chip, and that will put your 2 speakers in series.
I've got to learn all this.
I like transport. Hey, you're on message there. I like that. Everyone, mash the thumbs up, and if you haven't already hit that big red subscribe, don't forget the notification bell too. That's right, pop pickers. And also don't forget that you can also check us out over on Patreon, and if you want to support the channel, that helps us to make the videos that you want to see. So head on over there and check it out if that's your bag. If it's not your bag, who cares? Cool. Right, Ritchie War Department 1915. It would be good. Any of the main manufacturers did some low Mac GWR wagons. Was that the Laurel? Something like that. So, yeah, Hornby 00 did the low Mac many years ago.
007 Spike Dog. Thanks to you guys on the GMRC, I've just bought my first set and I'm currently building my first layout. Cheers. Well done.
That's very welcome.
That's what it's all about. Getting people, new people interested in the hobby.
Very much so, and I think it's one of the things that, hey, I Like Transport, you're really on message tonight. Thank you. Big up to I Like Transport. So don't forget to head on over to I Like Transport's channel and subscribe to their videos too. But thank you very much. But yeah, that's what GMRC was all about. It's about getting people interested in the hobby. And I've heard from a lot of model shop owners, from organisers at model railway shows. They've seen a big upsurge in interest, and from people as well who aren't necessarily railway modelers, who are kind of discovering the hobby for the first time. And it is a great hobby because there's a lot of transferable skills.
There are. Even crocheting.
Even crocheting.
I know we laugh about it, but I mean, yeah.
No, I thought those trees were really great.
In the context of the layout, the psychedelicness of it, yes.
But the other thing as well is
transferable.
you got to remember there's a lot of people on a very tight budget. So things like crochet trees, that's something you get Grandma to do for your layout. So like instant trees, and actually I thought they looked really good.
They did, yeah.
And what I would have done, my personal way I would have added to them, if you weren't going for the sort of like Beatles Yellow Submarine psychedelic look, spray them in hairspray and sprinkle on some scatters just to build up that textures and colours. And you can actually make them look really, really good. Curio by Bespoke Designs. I can crochet you some trees. It's all right, thank you very much. But certainly, just to give an idea of, really you're limited only by imagination. Yeah, Ian Ryan, I love the crochet trees. The judges missed the point, I thought. Very much with you on that.
A lot of things, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think the crochet trees were probably the biggie, that they really did misjudge what the public mood would be. I Like Transport, thanks for the shout out. I didn't expect that. No, you're absolutely welcome. You told everybody about the Patreon and to mash the like button. So it's the least I can do. Thank you very much for that. Brockwell Lane, if you could get a sound loco to play an album, what would it be? I'd have a Class 37 that played The Bends. That is a quality Radiohead album. You're probably going, what? The
I haven't
Bends?
a clue what's going
The
on.
Bends? Oh, yeah. Nitrosis of the Blood. Oh, what's that about? No, Radiohead's The Bends. That is a solid, stone cold 24 karat gold album. So yeah, I used to listen to that on repeat when I worked at the BBC. When I was writing copy, I just put some headphones on, and one of the albums that I used to just put on repeat was The Bends by Radiohead. I loved that album. But I don't know. I think probably Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd would be my #1 choice. It's an album I can never get tired of. Let's have a look. Yeah, Curio by Bespoke Designs. I find floral foam is easy to form into hedges and popular trees coated in scatters. They look great and cheap. Very much with you on that. And I think the thing about railway modelling is, and one of the things that I think the GMRC kind of started to bring home to people, is that there's so many different ways of doing things,
yeah,
and you don't need to have a big budget. I know that on GMRC we had quite a big budget, but there was a lot of things made, like the crochet trees, which kind of explored there's ways and means of doing this that you don't need to break the bank. So yeah, I'm right there with you. We used a lot of jab light as well, which is
not the cheapest of materials, but it was convenient to do for what we needed.
For example, if you go skip diving, if there's somewhere that's having a refurb and there's a lot of offcuts of that kind of thing, ask them nicely, say, excuse me mister, can I, if you're chucking this out, can I have that? There is ways of getting the stuff.
Warrington train spotters, apart from certain people being silly, Les, did you enjoy your time on GMR?
What do you mean, like Brian? We're talking about Brian here being a wally.
I did. I enjoyed it. There were times that was very stressing, but looking back at all the highs, there were far more highlights and far more enjoyable times
Yeah.
with 4 or 5 of the team members than there was with that one arsehole that spoilt it for
Language,
everybody.
Timothy.
Sorry,
But yeah,
Timothy.
unfortunately, Simon got an unfair portrayal
Yes.
in the final
Simon is a
episode.
decent guy.
Simon is a great guy, solid, stone cold, brilliant guy. Always lends a hand, always helpful.
And
really
he's
nice
quite new
person.
into railway modelling, but he threw himself at it wholeheartedly, and he'd never done the plaster work
Yeah.
before, and he took to that like a
The
duck
thing
to water,
about Simon
basically.
was he has lots and lots of enthusiasm, and he's more than willing to take on new tasks, even if he's never done it before. And unfortunately, he got a bit of some of the stuff was taken out of
Yeah,
context.
that's one of the issues we have,
And
isn't
the
it?
guy who actually caused a nuisance, who fell out with everybody on the team, and also threatened camera crew as well, got a final warning from the
Got a yellow
TV
card,
company.
basically,
Yeah,
from
basically
the
told if
TV
he didn't
company.
behave himself, he'd be kicked off the shoot. Practically edited out, so he got away scot-free on the TV coverage. But we are here to ensure that Simon's good name does not get defamed, and that everybody knows that Brian was the person who caused all the trouble. Ian Ryan, is it me or is there an issue? No, not anymore,
There's
because
no
we
issue
have
anymore.
nothing more to do with
No.
him. UK train spotting, Kate Bush. Actually, I'm a big Bush fan. I think it's a point somewhere. Oh, no.
Have we found? I'll move out of the way.
I think we've got.
It's Brian's evil.
Yeah, there's a burning. But anyway, enough about that.
Yes.
Let's change up what we're running. What locomotive shall we run? Bearing in mind, not everything runs on this innermost line. So, Warrington train
Talking of running, I am going to have to run. A, because I need the loo. But B, because I need to get home for about 9:30.
Right, no worries. So we're about to lose Les, but I'm going to keep going with the live stream. Actually, this is quite good fun. We might run some. Oh, class 50. The class 50 won't actually run on that innermost track. It kind of hits the corners. It's too long, basically. But shockingly, there were 2 class 8s on there. Did you not see them going round? I had 2 class 8s. 2 class 8s.
Right, I will say my good nights and hopefully be back again.
You get the cupboard monkey to let you out. But look, it's been great having
Thank
you
you very
on.
much.
So a big thanks to Les Cliff. And also don't forget, if you're in Bolton, go and check out Frame Around on Bank Street. And if you mention the magic words Jenny Monday Club, then he's open to offers on the big stock
Sensible
clearance.
offers.
Yeah, and
And Not Lobia will be getting reborn
it will
over a
live
period
again.
of time,
It
so
will definitely
don't worry.
live.
All right, guys, see you again. Right, see you again, Jenny.
Okay, look, you take
I
care.
will.
Catch you later.
Sorry,
Teddy bye.
Sorry, I have to rush off.
Yeah, no worries. You get the cupboard monkey to show you out.
Otherwise, I'll be locked out all night.
Yeah. Cupboard monkey, let Les out. Right, somebody said a packet. Any particular packet?
Fire in the hole.
That normally means like somebody's farting.
No, I haven't.
I have the Huntley and Palmer's packet. Shall we go with that? I'm going to have to shorten the train though, because it won't get up the hills. Right. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to move some of these wagons off the back of this. It's just it doesn't have the traction to get up the hills with a lot of stuff going on the back. So, I'll take all these tankers off. But right, let's have a look. Loco number 4. And there we are. He's pretty. There we go. That is my Huntley and Palmer's Locomotive D. So that's W4 packet from Hornby. Leslie Gilpin, is it just me getting random buffering? Might be YouTube generally. YouTube does that to me a lot, it has to be said. Basing TMD. Do you have the Ruston, Jenny? I don't. Where's it just gone? Oh, one moment. Come on, you. Where? It's deciding to be unreliable and just stop just out of sight. Cupboard Monkey, do you want to come and join us? Not really. Uh-oh. Right, we're going to have a Cupboard Monkey, I think. Oh dear. Right,
Gotta make noises.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Mark Wilson, where has Les gone? I'm sorry, did it buffer and then suddenly Les is gone? Les has had to go home because he doesn't have permission to stay out past 9:30, so
Yeah,
he's got to
gotta
get
go
home.
He's been
yeah.
playing out. His mum says he has to go home now.
Was that Colin White's a biscuit would be nice? Yeah, it would be really nice, wouldn't it? Actually, no, we've had way too many cookies earlier on.
I'll go and get you a biscuit
No.
if you want.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't get it. I was being a bit slow. The Huntley and Palmer's packet takes the biscuit. Garibaldi's, aka squashed fly biscuits. Curio by Bespoke Design says hello, Cupboard Monkey.
Hello. I'm not a cupboard monkey.
Yeah, Andy 1962 as well says there have been a few buffering issues tonight. I mean, it's probably YouTube rather than anything else.
I've been watching it down there in the office to make sure that everything was working, and I haven't had any buffering issues at all.
So
it could well
be your end.
It could well be a connection issue. It could well be YouTube messing up, and I have a feeling that YouTube tends to buffer things differently in different areas.
Very
who
much
knows?
so. Let me just.
But we are doing this live, so you know. Have we got any?
Have we got any what now?
Any choo-choos coming round? Where are all the gronks?
Gronks?
Yeah, where's the gronks?
Oh yeah, I took them off. I had Gronks going for ages.
I know, I like the gronks. That train always sounds like an electronic version of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
That's an interesting point, actually. Yeah, I suppose it does. James Pett says I have had a very small amount of buffering once or twice a while ago. Ham Shackle says the only buffering I've seen tonight was right at the beginning. Yeah, so essentially I think it's probably more down to your ISP's connection to YouTube, if it's varying between different people.
Oh, it could be the thing.
She's not funny.
I'm hilarious. I'll have you know, Jennifer, I am a stand-up comedian.
Oh, I just spotted in the comments. I Like Transport also says Jenny's books are available here at almostmedia.com. And if you ask nicely in the comments, I even get asked to sign stuff as well. So I can put almost anything you like in the front of the book. But
yeah, almost anything.
yeah, well,
She won't put any legal documents in that will sign over copyrights.
yeah, or bank details. And,
Well, you're willing to put bank details, but they won't necessarily be yours.
oh yeah, well, Zoe the robot. Right, okay, wait, let's stop being silly. Cause
I'm
people,
doing it in the
because
robot.
people don't like it when we're silly. Let's have a look. Andy 1962 is like the YouTube or internet connection. Ham Shackleton, if you knew my real name, you could find all my books on Amazon.
And not books, but books.
Books.
But
Is
books.
that like bum books? Derek Grant says, hi Zoe.
Hi, Derek. Right, it's too warm up here. I'm going down.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
that's just right, actually. Just right.
No.
But Ham Shackleton, why, let us know your real name. Why are you so frightened that people would...
So, is his name not Ham? I thought your name was Ham.
The cat is helping me to type. Oh, cats do that. Leslie Gilpin says, I think some of my books are still in print. Well, do you not get the royalty checks every once in a while? That's what happens, is I just get paid every once in a while. That's how I know my books are still in print.
Right, I'm off. You have
I
fun
am.
for the last the
Finu.
live stream. I'm going back downstairs because I was doing some work.
Fair enough. I'm just wondering if I move the
Bye.
camera around now so we could get more of a view of the trains. What do you think? Are people game for that? This could just sort of morph into a train running session. Oh yeah.
What would you like me to do with it? Within reason.
I don't know. I don't think the sun's shining there.
Where do you want it?
Actually, give it to me. Give it here. So, this is what we can do up here with this light. God, I look horrible. But if we look around here, this is Weir Yard. I'm just trying to see where the trains have gone.
They're over there.
But as you can see up there, that's the computer monitor that I'm reading the comments from. But there's a Peckett W4 on the way round in a moment, so I'm going to...
Why don't I take this off and you'll get a better look?
There we go. So, just a little bit of trains running by... Oh, I'm afraid the wire caught on a tree there. That didn't...
So that didn't work.
So... Oh, ow!
Okay, this isn't going to work, dear. So why don't I take this?
I'm trying to show people the rest of Weir Yard. So, go on, budge out the way. So as you can see around there, that's the rest of Weir Yard, I guess. With trains going round.
Good thing I've got trousers on.
Yeah, yes.
I was only expecting to be seen from the waist up.
Yeah. So, where shall I put this to? I wonder if can we?
What would you like?
I don't know. Do we need that lens back on?
I took it off so you got better focus on the train. That's okay. I can fit the lens back.
Yeah.
Great. Right, you've now got to turn around your back to the camera just to see the chat.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well,
This
just
is gonna
trying
get
different
weird.
angles. Oops. Yeah, just putting a different lens on the camera.
There you go.
That's good. Right. So maybe do some shunting. Oh, I don't do shunting.
No.
I have to say that's
She decided to shunt off.
Brockwell Lane. How about a competition to be your next guest? I don't. I'm more inclined to just sort of randomly invite people. I'm very picky about who I tell where I live. I have to say.
Yeah.
Wow, how cool is your layout? Says Martin McFly. Well, thank you very much.
To be honest with you, it's not that cool. It's pretty warm up here.
Yes, Zoe. Yes.
Okay, I will be off now. See you later. Do you want a cup of coffee or anything?
No, great. I'm good, thanks. Andy, 1962. Great shots of Weir Yard. Thank you very much. What else? I was thinking it's
And
sort
also, you've proved that this is not a green screen. You are actually here.
Yeah, it's not a green screen. 2 wagons behind the packet. One with digestives. One with custard creams. Mixed freight.
Oh,
LOL.
that would be lovely.
We don't have any biscuits in the house. Usually because when we do have biscuits in the house, they get eaten very quickly.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, okay, Cupboard Monkey.
Right. Do you want anything before I head off?
Where are you heading off to?
Back down to the office. Would you like any biscuits? I'll go to the shop and get biscuits if you want them. Do you need anything?
Biscuits. It's very tempting, isn't it? No, I shouldn't.
Okay.
Are you going out to the shop?
I would have to put some.
So I'm very conscious. I've got a big saggy belly there. T-shirt. It's not a green screen.
Oh, a green T-shirt with it's not
Oh,
a green
green screen green with this is not a green screen. Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Richie War Department 1915. Loving the layout, Jen. Thank you very much. It's just a little something I threw together. Let's have a look. What else we got? Warrington train spotter 2778. How is Simon? Has the abuse all stopped? Have you heard from him since the show? Yeah, I keep in regular touch with Simon. Spoke to him. I don't know. Let's wake that up. I speak to him through WhatsApp an awful lot. So I do stay in touch. Simon's doing great. He's very busy doing exams for his apprenticeship with Network Rail. He's a signalling engineer. As far as I'm aware, the abuse was fairly short-lived. Basically, the trolls have short attention spans and tend to lose interest underneath the bridge that they're hanging out in. So, as far as I'm aware, the abuse has abated. But yeah, he's doing all right. He's just basically throwing himself into his work. I like transport. I wouldn't mind some biscuits. That is quite tempting. SF Ratton New Zealand NZ. Hi Jennifer. Finally able to enter your chat. So hello from New Zealand. Hi to you. It's always great to have you along. Leslie Gilpin, chocolate oat biscuits from Aldi. Yum yum. Actually, yeah, some good stuff in Aldi. Curio by Bespoke Designs. I can't believe your guests don't bring biscuits or cake. I would. I will have to put that out there. If you're a guest on the Jenny Monday Club, bring funds. Who's that? Tim JD Dowd. Do you think you will ever do a Weir Yard part 2? A Weir Yard part 2? There's not really anywhere I could extend it to. So probably not. I'll be, yeah, J. Paul Anderson. Has Les gone? Didn't catch half an hour or so. Yeah, Les had to go. He only had permission to stay out until 9:30, so he had to rush off. So he went about 10 minutes ago. Is it? Huntley and Palmer's things just stopped over here. One moment. Clickety click, go the knees. So I'm tempted. Shall we change the Huntley and Palmer's W4? So, suggestions. What locomotives shall I put on instead of the Huntley Palmer W4? Trevor Sowerby. Hi Jenny, I enjoyed your interview with Cottesmore the other day. Thank you very much. It was great actually to have him on. I've been trying to get him on as a guest for quite a few weeks, and it was just basically trying to get our schedules to meet up and that. So yeah, it all hooked up and we're able to do that, and it was great to have him on. So big thank you to him for coming. Yeah, Dave from Cottesmore, he is a lovely chap. Racing TMD class 37. We've already had the 37. I'm also mindful when I turn that way you probably can't hear me so well, so I'm going to just see if I can move this. Where's best to move this? I'm actually thinking if I just bear with me a moment here. I'm going to move my chair around, I think. And let's just see. Is that a good angle? I'm not sure if there's a light. That should work. So, where shall we put this? Let's just bear with me. You're all at a weird angle. Just one moment. What the heck is... I'm going to get somebody kind of, oh, well, let me do it. I'm the expert. Right.
How you doing?
Badly.
Are you okay with that?
I think we're getting... Just one moment. Turn the light on, the main light for the room.
Give me 1 second to get this lens angled correctly. There
Right.
you go. That's about as correct as you're going to get with that.
It's too bright. Yeah, turn that light off. It's just far too bright.
It's okay. Turn them. Go.
Trouble is, it's in shot. So yeah, better with the light off. I think let's try that with the light off actually. So SF Ratton New Zealand. Sorry, Jennifer. My name is Kevin. If it makes it easier, you don't worry about it. It's not a problem. But somebody said class 33. I don't have a class 33. But yeah, class 31. Somebody's been asking for a class 31. So where did I keep stopping in the same place? It has to be said. So let's get the class 31 on. So yeah, I did see that come up fairly early on.
That should do it as good as you're going to get.
Oops, sorry. That W4 does stop at the same place every time. Have we got
You should put a station there.
No. We can't see the track very easily. You're absolutely right, actually. That is I'm afraid. I'm just trying to find.
Put it back. I was angling right.
No, we
I'm
don't.
trying to angle for the track, you see, there you are.
Those backlights make the lens all spotty. Yeah, it's not a good location. Right, I'm going to move
There we
it.
are.
No.
I've just done it. Just sorted it for you.
Right, well, hold on.
What's she like,
I'm
guys?
over here. Just bear with me. I'm over here. Just one moment.
You know what, guys?
Yeah, you talk to the.
I'm trying to angle this for her, and she was doing all right, and then she decided the best thing to do was move.
Oh
So-
yeah, moving is the way ahead.
I'm just trying to try and angle this so it's straight, but I don't think that's actually possible with this. Hello, everyone. Technical difficulties
monkey.
here. Yeah. Can you turn off these backlights? Okay, can you put on those two front lights?
Not without that light.
That's okay.
Turn that on. Woohoo! We're just experimenting with the light. I mean, this live stream's a lot about experimentation. Now we're just bleached out.
No,
And
you're
the
not.
layout's
No,
in
you're
shadow.
not. Because I am angling this. Okay. Right, if you're sat here, which is where you were, then you will be in a decent light. If you turn those lights back on, the layout should be in a decent light. There you go. And then it's not too overlit. And it hasn't got the spots from the camera, from the two lenses. So it should be okay. And now all we need is a Jenny back in shot, which would be very nice, but she's decided to sit in somewhere else. There. Don't you go tooting at me. How's that?
Is that the sound of a Class 31 that I hear?
Yeah, that works. The lights work. Right, go for it, babe. Have fun. Hi, guys.
I like transport. I like you a lot. Keep plugging all my stuff. That's great. I love it. I love it. Thank you very much for plugging the Patreon. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Where did you pick up your Class 31, the Regional Railways one, which is currently making its way behind the camera? You can hear that. Oops. Oh, actually, there's a bit of pace on that. It'll come round on this. Oh, apparently it won't. Just one moment there. How has that happened? What's just shorted? How has that done that? Right, take two. There, I don't know what happened there. Sometimes it does weird stuff like that. So, it's a 31 going to come past. You'll see it briefly on this bit of the layout. Oh, I'm going to slow that down because that's a bit energetic. But yeah, where did I get it? I got it from Bolton Model Mart. He'd had it in stock a while. I believe it was out in 2011, so it's getting on a bit as a model. And to the best of my knowledge, there it goes across the screen. He basically just had it in his cabinet for a good long while, and I really do like the Regional Railway livery. I like transport. You are a star. Tim JD Dowd sounds good. Gamehammer Classic Gaming. There is probably a little dust on the lens. I've rigged up 3 lenses on top of one another to get the shot we are using on the live stream tonight. There may be dust somewhere in the mix. I like transport. That sounds fabulous. I had somebody taking the rip out of my 31 saying that it sounded really rubbish, and I disagreed with them. They said that I was wrong and they were right. But yeah, I think it's alright, you know. I don't know how well the sound comes through. Let's just see what... I'm just checking some of the other function keys. There's like 20 odd different functions, so sometimes you have to hunt around to find what you want. Oh, it goes quiet when it's in the tunnel. Basing TMD, sounds good my end. Excellent. The Growler Blackwood Engage layout, been out and come back. Where's Les? Did he fall through the loft hatch? No, Les wasn't allowed to stay out past 9:30, so Les has gone home, sent his goodbyes at about 9:10. But basically he's not allowed to stay out late. Brockwell Lane, not a lot of drinking going on tonight. Yeah, it's a good point actually. I don't think I've got anything much in. I'm being quite good at the moment. I'm getting over the same illness I had last week. But, so, it's just... So hopefully you're picking up the noise from that. That's the 31. So, sounds cool from New Zealand, LOL. That's SF Ratton-NZ, aka, was it Kevin, you said? Let's have a look. Game Hammer Classic Gaming. Jenny, turn the camera just a little bit more towards you. The mountain is in the shot, but we can't see the train, so we prefer a little bit round. Okay, there we go. Jablight Mountain is now no longer in shot, and if I move over, then you can't see my flabby belly quite as much. Brockwell Lane, how many coaches do I have? About 100. There's a fiddle yard underneath the main layout, and there's about 70 down there, plus what's on the layout, plus what's in storage. I have a lot. I moved over, Zoe, so that people could see more of the layout. Let me just get that train moving. So there's a 31 now going to make its way around. J. Paul Anderson, Jenny, do you follow Hubnut on YouTube? He's a car nut blogger from Wales. I am aware of Hubnut, but I don't subscribe to him. Curio by Bespoke Designs, does anybody know of any steampunk style layouts? Yeah, there's a guy who did Great Model Railway Challenge Series 1 who does that kind of steampunk look layouts, and I can't remember his name, Laurie somebody or other. There are some steampunk themed layouts on the circuit, but the name escapes me right at this moment. Right, I'm going to let that 31 go round past me, and then suggestions please for the next locomotive, bearing in mind that not all locomotives will fit on that particular track because of the curves. I like transport. People who criticise, and less constructive criticism, are generally those who can't think of anything better to do. Very much so. Yeah, Leslie Gilpin is a guy. Yeah, Laurie Calvert, that's the guy. Yeah, he's the one that I know of who does a lot of steampunk themed stuff. Some pretty good layouts actually. So, any suggestions for the next locomotive? Do you have a Class 50? I do actually, but the Class 50, we'll give it a go. We will see. Let me get that round. I will check out the Class 50 and see if it'll go around. I think it's a little bit too long for that track. Oh, have we come off the track? We're getting there. West Country class. I don't have a West Country class. 108 or 101. Right, well, I'll tell you what, right, Class 50 was the first... It's turning into a request running session, this. So, what the heck? This is fun, this. Okay, so, Class 50 next. So, I'm just going to... There's the Class 31. So, let's have a look. I'm going to put the Class 31 away. And Class 50. Ooh! Sorry, I think I knocked the camera. Class 50 from the shelf of Ultimate Doom. So, 50002, Weathered Network Southeast, and that is Superb is the name of the loco. So, let's have a look. I'm not sure if it'll fit round on this track, so let's have a look. Oops, no, didn't want to do that. It's probably a bit weird, you just hear me going, oh,
Didn't want to do that.
right. So let's have a look. Loco 5002. And it's got sound in. This is actually the Hornbeat TTS Class 50 sound. It's not too bad a sound actually, it's a very characteristic English electric sound. Oh, don't know what that's a bit loud. It's got very characteristic sound as the Class 50. That is quite loud. Yeah, James Pets, I do approve of Class 50s. I like Transport. That's a nice 50. Leslie Gilpin, is your Kobo DCC fitted? It is, but not sound fitted. So I'm just going to see if that goes round. It's quite a long locomotive, and as predicted, it's got stuck. Just give me a moment. Right, so it'll come round behind me, but as you heard, and obviously seen me have to go and give it a prod, it won't get round the curves. So you get to enjoy the Class 50 now, just for one brief moment, and then, oh, thank you, Zoe, that's really nice, yeah. Basing TMD, does Zoe have a favourite train? Yeah, it'd be a Gronk. This is new image prop replicas. Hi Jenny, we are new subscribers and have had a few laughs listening to you. Thank you very much. I aim to please. Right, I'm going to have to... the Class 50 doesn't really get round on this track that I'm using. The corners are a bit too tight, so it kind of grounds on the scenery. So, what I'm going to do... somebody suggested Class 101, so bear with me. So, right, I'm going to put the Class 50 back. That's 5002. That's superb. It is a superb locomotive, but right, let's put that away, and then I need to find a home for these. Just bear with me a moment. To put the Class 101 on the track, I need to just clear some space, which involves moving the rolling stock. So I'm going to move that round there. Oh, been plagued by derailing wagons. Oh God, it's like anybody think they're being filmed. Right, okay, somebody asked for a Class 101. So ask and I will receive. So my Class 101, which is a Bachmann model, and when I put it on the track, it's got a Soundtrax DCC sound decoder in. They're quite cheap. I say quite cheap, cheaper than like a Zemo or an ESU lock sound, but slightly more expensive than a TTS sound chip. But the main selling point, there's a bit of dirt on that, main selling point for me on this is actually that they're programmable. They're something like 6 different locomotive sounds that the one chip can do just by changing a CV address. And one of the main selling points for me is it's the only way you can cheaply get a first generation DMU sound. So I'm going to put this on the track, and because it's a Soundtrax chip, you'll hear it just fire straight up. So it's not quite as loud as some of the other ones. So I'm going to 1011. Not quite so loud. Whoa, apart from the horn. Let's have a look. It's actually quite slow. See if this gets round. This is my Class 101 DMU. I don't think I've shown anybody this running, but it's the soundtrack's chip. So let's just see. You'll hear it in the background, and then eventually it'll turn up over here. Oh, I like Transport. I really do like you. You really are on message here. It's brilliant. So let's have a look. Ben Davis, hi Jennifer. What's your favourite DMU? I don't really have a favourite DMU. Class 101s and 108s and 105s. I remember with, you know, from my childhood, I guess. Oh, I like Transport. You are a star. If you run out of books to read, you can buy one here at allmousemedia.com. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much to Miramax911 for the £2 donation. That is very much appreciated. Thank you very much for that. And in recognition of your very generous donation, Miramax911, is there any particular locomotive that you would like to see running around the track behind me? So we see the Class 101 going down there, and it's not the best angle. We're planning on putting cameras and stuff up here so we can flick between it. But any particular suggestion from yourself for a train that I should be running next? Courier by Bespoke Designs, 105 with the whiskers. They actually do look quite good with the whiskers, I have to say. You're absolutely right in that. Ben Davis, Jennifer Eco, I will be working with my dad. He built and got some spent election wire. I will be cutting and be putting in my wagons. Slate chippings, we'll be breaking them and putting them in my wagons. Yeah, you can actually make your own loads quite readily, actually. Slate chippings, if you get them nice and fine. Gravel, that kind of thing. Offcuts of wire, all sorts of stuff. Leslie Gilpin, I always thought 101 had better seats, heavier upholstery than a 104 Derby unit. James Petts, do you have any kitten-themed rolling stock? Kitten-themed? Let me just, I'm going to quieten down. Actually, the Class 101 does make it round. Oh, there we are. That is... I like Transport. You've done really well there, actually. As a cheerleader, then you're the best. We're going to have to get you with, like, the pom-poms. Give me a J! Give me a D! Hello Kitty themed locomotive. I'm trying to think, a cat themed. They're generally like fish themed. So, you know, I've got sharks, laureates, bass, rudd, taupe, sea lion, that kind of thing. But in terms of, just trying to think, cat themed. I've got horse boxes, cattle wagons, cat themed. I don't really have anything cat themed. Brockwell Lane, Great Central Railway loco. Ritchie War Department 1915. Love to see a Great Central Railway locomotive. Okie doodly dokie. Merrimax, that was a very generous donation of you. If you want to make a suggestion for a train for me to run, I'll be happy to do that. If I've got one, but for the time being, let's put a J11 on, I think. I've got one that's DCC fitted, and it is in Great Central Railway livery. God, I get hair in my mouth. I do hate it when that happens. The perils of long hair. Right, so going to just take this off the track. I'm going to put this away, so if I disappear off shot, I'm just trying to get it back on the track over here. Right. The Great Central Railway J11 is not actually DCC sound fitted, so I will warn you on that. Come on, get on the track, you silly train. There we go. Right, Great Central Railway J11. Bear with me one moment, I have to dig this out. So, let's have a look and see what we can find. J11, where are you? J11. I thought this is it. Come here, you. Right, yes. So, Great Central Railway liveried locomotive. This is my Robinson 9J, aka the J11. And this is number 316 in Great Central lined livery. It's not a sound-fitted locomotive, so when I put it on the track, we're not going to get any sound out of it. I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. So, let's have a look. And just turning off the DCC controller and then going to turn it back on. The reason for this is because if you put lots of different locomotives on one after another and add in the locomotive, eventually it gets confused because there's too many stored in memory. And I find that the Gauge Master Prodigy Express 2 tends to crash and do weird things, so I've just turned it off. And now it should have reset its number list. 316. Enter. And there we go. It's a lovely locomotive. In the main range, it's available in LNER and BR liveries, but Bankman did for the Collectors Club it in Great Central Railway fully lined livery, which is what the story is behind this one. What's that? Game Hammer Classic Gaming. I think I have an old computer that could do with a new plug. Do you have any 3 pins? Not on me, but I can get one from Wilkinson's. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Leslie Gilpin. Wouldn't be surprised if the Japanese hadn't done one. I've seen the Hello Kitty AK-47, which is kind of cool. Ben Davis, thanks for running the train today. You're more than welcome. It's one of the things that actually doing the live stream from up here in the loft does allow me to do. So there we have it. There's the J11. I don't know how well these come out on this because it's I'm looking at a really small iPhone screen and it's tiny down there. But that's the Robinson 9J, aka the J11 in the Great Central Railway livery. Salty Seagull, have you been up Rangoon Signal Box? I have not, I'm afraid. Paul Weaver says, oh, we just got a short. Unfortunately, some of the trains jump the tracks on that point. I've got one of the tracks, which is the innermost track, which is the one that you see on here. It goes up and it goes down, it's got some tight curves, and it's the most finicky track to actually run stuff on. It's a bit of a nuisance, but it's the one that at the moment with the setup we're just trialling now, I'm able to effectively show you. So I suspect that's going to jump the track every time round. Let's turn it around actually. So I'm going to get it to run tender first. So just a little tip for you. Sometimes with these locomotives, if you get an unreliability issue and it derails at a certain point on your layout every time, turn the locomotive round so it runs the other way around. You'll see when it comes round, it's going to be running tender first. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can actually get it so that it will then run reliable in one way rather than the other. Leslie Gilpin just googled Hello Kitty locomotive and somebody actually makes a battery operated one. Yeah, that is quite sweet. I might have to look into that. Salty Seagull, signal box on the Severn Valley Railway. I've not been to the Severn Valley Railway since I was very small, so I wouldn't have been in it, I guess. In fact, when I last went to the Severn Valley Railway, it didn't actually run the full length that it does now, because the bit from not Bridge North, what's the bit where it joins the BR, that section was still in use to serve a commercial customer. So when I last went there, let's just see, does it make it round? Oh, no. Right. I'm afraid we're going to have to move on from Great Central. So, yeah, Kidderminster, Brockwell Lane, you're absolutely right. So, any requests for another locomotive? We'll get through quite a few here. I can't remember any other suggestions that were made that we've not already done. I'm not going to run one that are a class of loco that we've already run. So let's have a look. Marsh Atlantic. Oh, get in there. Ben Weiss. Good choice. Give me one moment. So let's have a look. Marsh Atlantic. Marsh Atlantic. Where are you? There. Oh, ah. Right. So, as I showed earlier on in the live stream, Marsh Atlantic, London Brighton South Coast Railway Livery La France. Oh, again, a few requests coming in now. So what we'll do is, I know the Kobo's been mentioned a number of times. Yeah, Salty Seagull, if you do come and pull a few levers, I would actually love to do that. I am quite interested in signal boxes, so yes, if I do come and visit the Severn Valley Railway, and I've got a friend, Will Jarman, who lives in that area, keeps trying to persuade me to come on down. So yeah, I would love to come on down and have a go. But let's have a look. Locomotive 39. And this is the Marsh Atlantic. Let's have a look. I like transport. I can't help but think we are missing a certain blue tank engine, or did he turn white? Excuse me. Yes, I don't have them. Those belong to Simon. So, yeah. Oh, is it Ben Davis? What's your favourite Great Central Railway locomotive? Robinson 8K, probably at the moment. I do actually have one in Great Central Railway livery. Look out for the Marsh Atlantic in a moment. But it's not DCC fitted. Not yet, anyway. Let's have a look. Oh, and Richie War Department 1915 says Great Western Railway. So it's suggestion for the next train. Well, let's just see. Does that one make it round okay? Yeah, that's not quite so finicky. So again, it's not a sound fitted loco. So intermittently you're going to see it go past here. So yeah, James Pett says, I love that Atlantic. So do I. When I saw it released in that livery, I really just had to get it. Vata Demonen, good evening to you. Jane Poole Anderson, what's your favourite heritage railway in the UK, Jenny? That's a difficult one. I follow the Great Central Railway quite avidly. Also the Bluebell Railway. And also the East Lancs Railway. I'd guess those three for various reasons. Really interested. The Bluebell Railway because of the expansion from Kingscote to East Grinstead and the planned expansion to Ardingly. I just find that really interesting. Great Central Railway because the Montserrat sidings and the branch line that they reinstated there just really interests me, that kind of project. Oh, and the Stainmore Railway at Kirby Stephen East as well. Model Railway Noob, hello, going on the Great Central night train at the end of the month. It's again another great line. It's really interesting. There's a lot going on there, and it's one of the, I need to get out there and visit a lot of these. I like transport. I see the Atlantic. I admit it does look good on your layout, even if I don't particularly like that Atlantic. Yeah, it's like, you know, aesthetics. What one person loves, another person hates. One of those things. Leslie Gilpin. Dean Forest has gone up in my estimation. Yeah, and I would really love to see them expand and expand. I know they've got plans to actually expand further, but yeah, you know, all heritage railways that have their own particular interesting aspects. So I think it would be disingenuous of me to pick an absolute favourite. But Brockwell Lane, when can we see your exhibition layout out and about? Well, it was at the Rainhill exhibition this last weekend just gone. It doesn't get out an awful lot. In fact, it's the only exhibition this year. Maybe in the future I'll do stuff like you know, Alexandra Palace or Worley if they invite me. So yeah, if there's anybody watching who has any sway with for people who organise Worley exhibition, Grove Street Yard doesn't get exhibited much. Has featured in Model Yanish Fogs Magazinet, Model Rail Express Mag, and Model Rail quite extensively. So it is, you know, it's been out there, it's been publicised, has appeared in print, has appeared in a lot of the YouTube videos. So it's available to book. It's not the biggest of layouts, only needs 2 people to operate it. So yeah, who knows, watch this space. Ben Davis, my favourite heritage railway is the Swanage Railway and Severn Valley Railway and Midhants Railway and North Norfolk Railway and North Yorkshire Moors Railway. So quite a list going on there, but yeah, there's a lot of good railways going on. Warrington Train Spotter 2778, is that a Raker Mark 1's behind you? It is actually, yeah, the Rail Blue stuff. If you hold on just one moment. I can't plug it. Oh, it's not plugged in. Basically, the light is plugged in to where that plugs in. Just one moment. I'll see if I can get that running. It might be quite noisy because of the stuff. Let's just. So, just give me one moment. Yeah, there we go. That's actually a DC line, but it's such a faff to change the stuff that's on there. At the moment, what you'll see going around on that is a Bachmann Class 55, double-headed with a Bachmann Class 45. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14 Mark 1 and Mark 2 coaches. So all in the BR blue for the locos and blue grey for the stop. But it's quite noisy, so I'm not going to leave that running, essentially because it's such a long rake of stuff. Yeah, Andy 1962, Bonus and Keneal Heritage Railway, yeah, another interesting one. That along with the East Lancs Railway, and oh, actually no, there's it's not the only one that goes underneath the motorway, because the Middleton Railway also goes underneath the M621, but the East Lancs Railway goes over a motorway in the form of the M66. Oh, actually, Epping-Ongar Railway goes underneath the M11. Also, yeah, I Like Transport. Don't forget to go and check out I Like Transport's channel. It's just posted a link, so after the stream, don't forget to go and check out those and subscribe to their channel. Right, Marsh Atlantic, let us get that swapped out. I think the next on the list, somebody asked for the Cobo. Brockwell Lane, what's your favourite station on a preserved railway? Again, that's quite a tricky one. I'd say probably Horsted Keynes on the Bluebell Railway, because it's a junction station and sort of is a junction. Let me just change this. I'm going to put the Cobo on next. So, right, I can't remember who was asking for it, but somebody asked for the Cobo. This is the Helgen Cobo from the very first release. I know it's just been re-released, other liveries and stuff, but to the best of my knowledge, D5701 is the only Class 28 that received all over Rail Blue, I think. So, a bit of an unusual livery, but I quite like it. So let's get this on the track. And of course, the only surviving Class 28 is at the East Lancs Railway, currently being restored. So, Loco 5701. Oops, wrong way. So, you're going to see the Cobo passing around behind me. Look out for it over here as I keep talking away. Ham Shackleton, sound and vid matches hit here. Oops, the screen just went funny. Let's have a look. Common Road Junction, have you got the Oliver Cromwell? I don't know. Saltley Seagull, have you been tempted to get a Class 68 and TPE livery? Now, I'm afraid my interest in railways kind of fizzles out in about 1992, 93, so I don't have anything post-privatisation. Leslie Gilpin, yay Kobo. Yeah, watch out for it. It's currently just gone into the tunnel for Jablite Mountain. I like transport. Class 28s are unusual locos that suit unusual liveries. I've always thought of them as being quite peculiar. Yeah, nickname the Wonder Loaf. Unique in the UK for having that bogie arrangement to do with axle weights more than anything. I do think actually that for fictional liveries it would be interesting to see one in RTC livery. Theoretically one could have eventually carried it, but there we go. Common Road Junction, what's the best Class 20 in your opinion? Well, in model form, it really can only be the 00, the Bachmann model, because it's the only decent model on the market. I do know that Lima had a model, Hornby 00 had a model, and I did actually do a comparison where I showed the Hornby 00 model. I'm going to just stop this locomotive because it is quite loud. The Kobo is still going round, so you'll see that trundle past in a moment. But the Hornby 00 model, I always thought it looked good for its time, but actually next to the Bachmann model it looks absolutely atrocious. In terms of sound, the Hornby TTS is the best, but the Hornby model is absolute... It's a bit... So I've just spotted something where the camera's gone. It's torn up some of the grass. That's a bit annoying. I'm going to have to fix that in a moment. Warrington train spot. Oh, it's just derailed actually. Warrington train spotted 2778 says, have you got any Class 47s? I'm afraid that I do not have any Class 47s. But yeah, Common Road Junction. I was looking at getting a Bachmann one after watching your video on it. Oh, thank you very much. I am glad to be of inspiration. Yeah, the Bachmann Class 20, I bought D8000 from the National Railway Museum, and I do have 4 others. So they are a good locomotive. They don't have directional control lighting, but they can be added. I've seen people do it. New image prop replicas. Have a great evening. Thanks for the stream. You're more than welcome. It's been great having you along. I like transport. Oh no, how about you do grass fixing live? Right, there's one more locomotive I'm going to run, so no more requests for locomotives to run. Somebody asked for a Great Western Railway locomotive, so that's going to be the last locomotive because I'm going to have to round this up now. But I'm going to take the Wonder Loaf off. There it is, the model. The Helgen model. It's a really good model actually, and surprisingly easy to DCC chip. So I can recommend these. Look out for them. They're actually a lot better than the old Hornby 00 model, which from my childhood was a bit bland. So Great Western. What have we got? Great Western. Great Western. Bum 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 bum. Right, this is a Saint, I think. So Great Western locomotive, bit dusty. Knight of St. Patrick, this is a Saint. I did a box opening and review video on this. So, final locomotive request to go round. I like transport, yeah. We have hit 3 hours 10 minutes. So I think it's an all-time new record. So let's get Saint onto the track. This is the Hornby Super Detail model. And is it 4013 loco 4013? So it's actually really, really good. And of course, some of the Saints were rebuilt into Castle class. So when I press F1, you will hear the sound of a Castle class locomotive because I figured it must be fairly similar. Hope it goes round, you know. Oh, did we hit 3 hours 30 minutes? Interesting. Oh yeah, the Llangollen Railway is a lovely railway as well. Let's just... A knight would be a star, which would... Right, okay, I'm with you. Sorry, I got all confused. So it's a star class. I stand to be correct on that. Yeah, James Pett's a star, not a saint. Thanks for pointing that out. So I have to go all Captain Mannering now. So, oh yeah, that's well spotted. I was wondering who'd be the first person to point that out. Yeah, Ben was easy to confuse them. But they are... Oh, Richie, War Department 1915. I think you requested something Great Western Railway. So... So hopefully you should see... Here it comes. So you'll see it there as it goes past. It's actually a lovely model. I picked it up second hand, but like as new in the box. Arcadia models in Shaw's where I got it from. It's always worth looking out for what's available second hand. A lot of model shops do price second hand quite keenly. Price to sell, keep it moving. So it's always worth taking a look, and I've had some great bargains over the years from Tim at Arcadia. Lots of other model shops as well, great to get stuff from. But this star is one of the ones that I got from Tim at Arcadia at a good price. Also, both of my Class 50s came second hand from Tim at Arcadia, it has to be said. So I've got 2 Class 50s. So, you know, support your local model shop. You can find some really great stuff. But, yeah, good whistle sounds. It is actually pretty good. And there's one of the things about the TTS sound chips. For me, when I fit a TTS sound chip in a locomotive that isn't necessarily the exact match for it, I go off whistle sounds and number of cylinders, but primarily whistle sounds. So if your locomotive is a Great Western locomotive, fit it with a Great Western locomotive TTS sound chip, because it's the whistle that is the key for me. Yeah, Model Railway Noob. I've brought some great second-hand locomotives to respray and return to rail operating division ones. Yeah, very much so. Anyway, look, I'm gonna... Ben Davis, you're more than welcome. Thank you, thanking me for the live stream. It's been great, actually. Thank you all for coming on. Yeah, Richie, War Department 1950. I bought an XGW 72XX from Cheltenham Model Centre for 75. Yeah, you can, support your local model shop. There's a lot of great bargains still out there to be had. But I'm going to have to start rounding this off. That been going quite a long time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that there. I'm going to turn that off. And then somebody asked about live grass repairs. So what you'll see here is not Dettol. That's the spray thing that I use. This is in fact the very spray thing that you saw me on GMRC using. So there we are. Team Rail Riders. Everybody, Team Rail Riders, that's us. And this is the actual bottle that I used. So, whenever it's any kind of spray thing, Dettol, surface cleaner, any of that kind of stuff is actually depleted. Snag the bottles because they're really, really great. So, what I'm going to do now is, and thank you all for joining me, and we're going to get a very quick grass repair. So where the camera has kind of mucked up the grass. So what I'm going to try and show you here is just here. There's nothing special. There's nothing special to see, but essentially, there we are. Grass repaired. That'll now happily dry. And jobs are good. So, good night to you all. Brockwell then said, night Jenny, love you, Cupboard Monkey. I like traps, but live repairs, that would be my request. It's been great to have you all on. And from here in Weir Yard, it's been really good fun. Don't forget to join me again next week on the Jenny Monday Club from... Oh, excuse me, a bit of a burp there. Jenny Monday Club from 7 o'clock GMT, I think we're on now. But until next time, you take really good care of yourself. Don't forget to like this video, mash that like button. It's always really good for me. It massages my ego. Also, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Ring that bell and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. So I'm just spinning in my chair here to give you a really good view of where you are just before we go. But until next time, thanks again for watching. It's been great to have your company. I've really enjoyed this live stream, actually, and doing it from up in the loft, it's opening up whole new avenues. So yes, I like transport. You are a star. Don't forget you can get your own mugs. So here's one of the JK branded mugs. You can get those by following the link that I Like Transport has really helpfully put up. Also, don't forget you can buy my books too for some great science fiction reading. And yeah, that's my website as well. Thank you very much, I Like Transport. And don't forget as well, you can go and check out I Like Transport's YouTube channel. So until next time, you all take really good care of yourself. And this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying bye for now.